hit a beat and talk about my Eve. Everybody don't know
Oh,
what I say.
God.
I'm gonna do a beat.
Make it
Why,
stop.
Zane?
It's
Why?
time to stop.
Why did you?
Rock, paper, scissors, right? We don't want Eve to be as simple as shut the fuck up, Seto!
Floods of like memes, and these small gangers are like, we're the elite of the elite. Do not fuck with us. We will kill you. We are the best players ever. It's like, dude, I did your shit. I did it better than you did.
You know what this conversation is like? When I say not enough supers die in Dell, and people tell me, oh, look, there's a super died in Dell. So it's like, when
What
I'm
are
talking
you
about
even
the balance
talking
issue,
about? We were talking about fucking balance, not supers
Yeah.
dying in Delph.
Look,
Why
look,
does
look.
everything with you have to be about supers fucking dying in
Shut
Delph?
up! Shut up!
Christ!
It's an analogy, moron. It's an analogy. Okay?
You guys stop arguing. You act like a fucking married couple. Jesus Christ.
No, don't stop arguing.
It's an
Well, it
analogy.
is Trash Talk
I
Tuesday.
was like,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Trash Talk Tuesday. We have a special announcement to make after the events of last week, the debacles that occurred. Trash Talk Tuesday has actually been promoted to the number 2 show that broadcasts at 0100 Eve every Tuesday. Thank you very much. I'm very proud of you all for sticking through, watching the show, and helping us become arguably the second best show on Tuesdays. Thank you. Thank you.
Are we live yet?
Yeah, we're live. We're super live.
Sorry. I was watching Talking Stations, so I wasn't listening.
That's the third best talk show on Tuesdays now.
Oh no.
Well, tonight we have some pretty, I guess, interesting topics to talk about. Obviously, the mobile observatory is alive, so we're going to get some feedback on that. Also, it looks like we are going to talk about some war stuff, too, because our boy Moomin just joined. So I'm going to give him the role so he can join the channel when he feels it's appropriate. And then also we're going to talk a lot about CSM kind of stuff. So that should be fun, right?
What role is it?
Regulars. For what? Role for what?
He already has that.
Yeah, he joined the public voice channel instead of the regular
give
one.
him the old college drag.
I did. I dragged him in here. Hello, Moomin.
How
are you?
Right. You know, I didn't just want to kind of smash in and kind of, oh, here I am kind of thing.
Right, this isn't T5Z local.
No, exactly.
You should have just came in and just like started singing Miley Cyrus. It came in like a wrecking ball. That would have just been fantastic for everybody.
That would have made Redline laugh and no one else.
Yeah, true facts.
I
Anyways,
think it would have made Redline do more than that.
Oh God. So I was just introducing the show and the topics that we're gonna talk about tonight. So we're gonna touch on some mobile observatory stuff. We're also gonna talk about the gates to the Empire, or the new Empire gates, all that fun stuff, and then CSM and whatever else you want to talk about. Moomin, I heard you have some hot takes for us, so I've got my wee woos ready whenever you are.
No, I'm just here to kind of well, you know, answer a few questions from the goon perspective if you want.
Okay.
Are you Don Ray's replacement? Because I hope so.
Oh, I am superior to Dawn in many ways.
Oh, I completely agree.
That's
already.
hardcore
You
sexism.
It is 15 minutes into the show barely, not even that. It's like 3 minutes, and you haven't started screaming already. So
it is 5 minutes into the show. I don't know what you mean exactly. All right, so where do we want to start?
Observatory.
Observatories. Okay, so let's get some takes on what we think about the observatories. And go.
I like it because it gives a counterplay now to cloaky camping besides just bait them out and hope they're at their computer or that they are active or they can't counter drop your bait or something like that. It gives the opportunity for active players who are camping in a system and looking to use the advantage that cloaking brings in a positive manner to the game that feels like it has counterplay rather than a negative and oppressive aspect where someone who's not logged in, not at their keyboard, has an effect on someone who is active, is logged in, and is at their keyboard, wanting to play the game, but is dissuaded or otherwise unable to because of the cloaky camper.
But
Okay,
do they
Jeremy.
though? Do
So
they
how
have more
did
impact?
how does the change that has been implemented actually do that? What you had just described.
So, to run down the basics of the observatory, after you anchor it, it is it's like the other icons in system, like a Joe Observatory or anything else, where it shows in your view. It sends out a ping every, I believe, 10 minutes. It has a 40% chance of decloaking a person who has not decloaked and then recloaked in the past 15 minutes. Because if you decloak and recloak, it gives you a 15-minute invulnerability timer where you cannot be decloaked by the mobile observatory. So the positive aspect I was talking about is if you're in a system with a cloaky red, you know that they are most likely active. You know that most likely watching. It gives you a chance to interact and play around the fact that they're most likely active. ESS, that is not what it is. A mobile observatory is very cheap. It is 50 million ISK. So they're kind of just disposable. I don't, well, yeah, I mean, I'm pretty comfortable saying that they are, in fact, disposable. You just put 2 or 3 of them down, and it lets you see they're active, lets you interact with the active campers, lets you do that thing where you can still, bait the drop, interact with the camper like I've been saying. It is an active change. It disallows passive gameplay. And it's not even gameplay. You're not playing the game. You're not even there on the computer. You're not logged in. You're not even looking at the game a lot of the time. You're just there. So it's not even
Well, you would
passive
have to be
gameplay.
logged in, but you're right about being away
About
from the keyboard.
cloaking, yeah. So it allows a more active gameplay style for everyone involved.
Wait,
So I think it
so
is a good change.
I like your reasoning for why it should be implemented, but can't CCP just implement a logout timer? Like you don't do anything for so long, it just kicks you out of
Well,
the game.
this is what we have, right? So let's stop postulating about what we could have because we're never going to get that. And what we have now is a good and workable system.
So what you're
So you
saying
don't.
is that we shouldn't ask for more?
Well, let's keep the topic
Well, the
on the
question was,
observatory.
yeah, the observatory
Yeah.
itself.
It wasn't like what would you rather have than the observatory. It's what is your take on the observatory.
But you're pretty confident the way the observatories now are at least relatively decent enough to not need major tweaks so far and whatnot, right?
I mean, I think I have not played around with it enough to definitively say whether it needs like a tweak. Like let's say like if it can be anchored longer or whatever. I'm just saying that I like it in its current iteration, and I will need more data to see if it needs to be changed or if it needs to be reworked some.
And so is CCP.
So the
Yes.
anchorable structure itself, how does its HP compare to like a mobile Sino beacon or a inhib or something like that?
It can be
It
killed by
has-
a solo Hecade in 21 seconds.
Yes, it has 28 or 2.8. I can't remember KEHP.
Yeah,
It is
it can
not
be killed by a solo Hecade in 21 seconds. So it's
Not
very
a- it's
it's
not-
very squishy. Very
Red line
squishy.
with the numbers. Thank you.
You
Red Line.
have to again, it's part of the active gameplay loop. You have to be, if you are actively playing against it, then you can play against it. If you're actively not doing anything, it is a lot harder to play against.
Or if I just set up a macro on my cloaky camper to press my cloak and to press it twice every 15 minutes.
Yes, that is a problem with the new system. I concur.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if we want to talk about what we would have rather had, I would rather have the cloak expire after 15 minutes instead of
Yeah.
having to anchor a structure.
Why not an AFK timer that just kicks people out of the game? That'd probably help Jita a lot too.
That's
True.
true. I don't know. I am wary of AFK timers because if you're, because it,
So
I don't
just
know,
out of
'cause
interest,
it's a lot easier.
how does this actually change anything really? Because say for instance you're invading a region and you want to reduce the ADMs and you go in, you do a bit of camping in there, cloaked up. How does it change anything?
Well, if you're active and you're watching, it really doesn't change anything. If you are defending the region, it allows you to counterplay those cloaky camping. It allows you to It allows you to, because if you drop 3 of them, you have a fairly solid chance of decloaking the camper on your first ping around, right? So it allows you.
Okay, you're going to have a
You can-
response fleet looking after this.
So
while
Moomin,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
bottom
that's what I should say,
line,
I'm sorry.
the bottom line is you can differentiate between CCTV and someone that's going to drop
Yeah.
very
And
easily.
like I said, if you're an active player, you can get your buddies to like pop this pretty easily. Like come in with like a bunch of like just T1 assault frigates, like thrashers, and just kamikaze strike the mobile observatory if it's really that big of a problem for you. It's not like it's very squishy. It's very hard to defend against active groups of players.
I
Yeah,
imagine
and that's kind of my
can
point,
volley
really,
it.
which is an active group of players going into a region. If they were to do that, they'd well, you're still kind of going to end up in a situation where you're generating kill mails for them, aren't you?
Well, yeah, and I think that's fine. It has been where you have to do like Z kill analysis of every time you want to go into a system like the Reds in system, basically, right?
Yeah, so
Because you
it's
don't.
just like how the only bit I'm trying to understand really is just how it changes stuff. Because I mean, for me, it just means that I put a spy in PH and I'm sitting there instead.
I mean, well, that's the usual remark. I mean, that's what everybody does, spy in PH.
Yeah.
But
So how does it kind of fix a lot of things?
well, it doesn't. It fixes inactive players affecting active players, which is the big part. Because not
Well,
everyone wants.
apparently Mittens doesn't play, and yet you've gone to war with him for a year. So how
Hey,
does
we
that
Does
work?
that have
killed
to do
him
with the
yesterday.
discussion?
We killed him yesterday.
What
Thank
does
you
that have to
very
do with the
much.
discussion? Please
Yeah.
focus.
That was funny, but
So
it
doesn't
allows.
really affect anything. Like to answer your question, Moomin, it doesn't affect jack shit because basically if you're like the effect that it has is that it's removing the ability for people to play the game without playing the game in regards to cloaky camping. Even though cloaky camping is a very viable technique for reducing ADMs in a system, as has been proven many times, it's just not something that CCP wants. They think that putting a button timer on something is going to make it better magically. I mean, if you guys are listening, it's not. It hasn't before, and it won't now.
I don't
It's
think
just
it's going to impact like you
I
have like 100 plus of them just randomly screwing about.
well, you can only have 10 in a system,
But
and
it's a
No,
right
40% chance
now,
to be cloaked.
What I'm saying is cloaky campers, the people who have large amounts of cloaky campers.
Are you under the impression that this is not going to stop cloaky camping?
yes.
That's fine.
Then
The
I
only
would encourage
thing-
you to wait a couple weeks and see what the results actually are.
Okay, I'll do that. I feel like if you have a large amount of cloaky campers, then you're probably input broadcasting anyways. Cough cough Marshy, cough cough whoever else. And if you're already breaking the rules on one thing, why wouldn't you just continue breaking the rules by setting up macros to automatically cloak, decloak and cloak your shit? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. It seems like it's such an easy action to plan a robot for, and it's exhausting seeing so many things coming that are just so easily bottable, yet make it inconvenient for actual players that may be AFK.
So you're taking people who before, like, and let's be honest here, the vast majority of people who cloaky camp before were not breaking the EULA, right?
True.
You know, you had guys who with 5 accounts would log in at downtime and go cloaky camp a system. You had coordinated groups in the Imperium and Pappy and everywheres where people would be assigned system to cloaky camp. Log in at downtime, log off, just leave the account running all day. Guess what? They can no longer do that. Yeah, you've still got some guys that have large industrial bot farms, and maybe they will have macros made that can do this. I am doubtful.
I mean,
it is important to remember that this also. Say what?
The macros already exist. Like when the change
sure,
went live on CC.
It's not
like,
about whether the macro exists. Will they use the macro, and will that macro cause them to be banned later? As obviously using a macro is very clearly against the EULA.
And that's got to be so detectable. I mean, if it's the exact
you
same
perfectly-
action and it's like perfectly on the clock, you know, like they're gonna be able to detect a macro like that.
The thing is, can you do that macro for 20 hours straight? Then you're going to stand out, because if you don't, somebody's going to decloak you and scan you down.
Well, maybe you don't do it for 20 hours straight, which I guess would reduce the amount of cloaky camping, but you can set it up to be random. Like it's all a thing that can be set up to be random.
If you are not at your
Computers
keyboard,
can't do random.
you will not know when you need to be activating your macro and when you won't, right? Like the key thing is you cannot get around this unless you are literally at your keyboard or you have some weird macro where you sit in a safe spot.
No,
and you,
the key thing about this is players will get around it because we invariably do every single time.
No, we fucking don't. Like,
we
Jesus.
do, unless they turn something off. I mean, it's a case of we tend to be rather creative. So,
sure.
Okay, cloaky camping. Okay, we'll just
When they nerfed hog guns on Titans, did we just get around that and have hog guns the next day? No. Like, I understand it's mechanically different than a balance change, but like saying that people will just get around things it's not true. They will adjust, but things will never be the way they were today.
Oh, right. So adjusting is different to getting around something.
Yes.
Correct. It is. Yeah. When you say get around, it implies that things will be 100% of the way they were. When I say adjust, it means that it might be 20% of what it was for the people that are putting in the work to adjust.
Well, there again, I am GBS, and as with most things, I do agree with you. Is like, let's just run it out for a couple of weeks and we'll see what happens. But generally, I would say people aren't very good at predicting what happens.
I would agree with that statement.
Is this?
Okay,
This is
so
weird.
the major get around is going to be people, you know, making deep safes, and then they can't get combat probed because it's going to take forever to actually find them. And then they can still do their camping.
You can still probe people at deep safes, and deep safes are harder to make than they've ever been.
Yeah,
it's true, but it's going to be a workaround.
But it's not a workaround because you can still be probed at deep safe. Just the effort required to do so is different, right? And guess what? If you're AFK, people have all the time in the world to sit there and probe you.
On the upside, maybe people are going to get better at fucking combat scanning, so that's good.
I doubt that's gonna happen.
Solar systems are big, bro. I don't think you can, like, if.
I mean, how far?
Do you know how probes work?
Yes, I know how. Probes
Yeah,
work.
it's like, and some systems are what, 200 AU across, and then if you've obviously got an incursion deep safe off of that, then that can be even further away.
Okay. Do you know how to probe somebody at a deep safe? I'm not.
Well, it's a case of you probe.
Yeah, you
But
just
how
make your-
large are
make your
the
probes real big and
combat
then
scanner probes
make 'em real
range,
small.
maximum range?
120 AU, and you can just spread those out around, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Makes me
make your probes
scared.
real big and make them real small. It's easy.
I flew the Raven State issue in the deep safe, and I was terrified the whole time. So thanks for validating my paranoia.
The second you get a 0.001 result, you can start working the probes down. And if somebody's AFK, there's like, you will go get
There
them.
again, it's like, to me, we're going to have to see how this like necessarily plays out. I don't think it's necessarily going to bring the desired results, because I'm not even sure what the desired results are.
Yeah,
Less
same.
cloaky camping.
Then they'll just do it in a cap stable, like 6K a second, whatever the fuck, interceptor.
I mean, with that, you don't even need the cloak, right?
Yeah.
As someone who's woken up in my 6 kilometer second stable interceptor dead many times when I went AFK, I can tell you that one doesn't work all that as well as you may think it does.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
you're not
it's
going
100%,
fast enough.
Billy. I'm saying it's another workaround.
Well, goddammit, Billy, we'll find something to make this not work. You can bet on that. These mobile observatories, they will not succeed if there's anything we can do about it. Because I'm
As I
still
said,
not
I'm not saying
convinced-
people won't adjust and try different things. But what I'm saying is the majority of things people are going to try to adjust to do require active gameplay, which is the goal. The goal of this patch, as CCP has said numerous times, is to force people to play the game and not log in at downtime and then sit there and affect everyone around them.
Why did they just do a
Yes,
log
and
off timer? Like
I
a
think that's
AFK
an
log off timer?
admirable goal. I think
Because you
it's an
can't do that in
admirable
EVE
goal.
Online, the way the game works.
You can't do it, or
There's
it's
too-
hard to do
They
it.
can't. There's too many things that could be affected by that, right?
Oh my god, they would do it and the whole system would delete itself probably.
I could see in tie-dye or whatever, it just logs everybody
I would
off. 'cause they're
slice
AFK.
right
Yeah,
through
In
the
tie-dye, you're like
spaghetti
trying to
code.
cycle your doomsday and you get logged off because you're not
Oh,
doing
jeez.
anything.
Oh,
Okay, now that you
horrible.
mentioned that, the AFK timer does not sound good at all.
Yeah.
Can you? Oh man. So speaking of
It
tie-dye,
took me like a quarter of a second to think this one's a very bad idea. Like, there's, like, it's important to remember every, like, and this is not like there was many instances of this change that went through, and I can't talk about obviously any of them that didn't make it, but like, this was the best of the options available.
and see, that's why you're on my CSM ballot, dude. That's why you're there. Just
So
Is there
Ambar Win brings up an interesting point in chat. They say if you do it in a scepter, then you're not a threat. The point is, if you're in local and you haven't been probed down so that they don't know that you're a scepter, then you are a threat and you will disrupt their ADM running or their crabbing or whatever they want to do in that system or their structure anchoring.
Yeah,
So-
people
That's
don't
the whole
like it
point.
when people are sitting around them, so they kill them.
that does bring an interesting counter to like cloaky camping in general.
Rain, can you drag Kale?
So
Just like an organized standing fleet or something like that, because that's pretty much I think all it takes to be able to crab under the threat of being cloaky camped. What are they going to do? Drop WAPs on when I can light a sign?
Drop 120 bombers on your super, and before like you can even say anything, you're eliminated.
Hi,
Time-
has anyone
time
heard of
Delve.
Delve?
Who's
Yeah.
saying that you have to be in a super to do this? Like,
nobody.
Well, any
so
kind of
there's
you're not even
castle, right?
really
there's
any, like-
two things though. So one, with cloaky camping, someone who is cloaked is not a threat. So is cloaky camping really that big of a deal? Like if you
Yes.
just
Well, no,
if you're just
someone-
if you're just brave, you know.
Saying that somebody who's cloaked is not a threat, like, where the fuck does that come from?
Well, they're not. What can they do?
Decloak
might
can
as
kill
well-
you.
I mean, I guess, but they'd have to have friends
Why do you
for that.
think it's an issue?
Like they'd have to have friends for that, and cloaky campers
No, they don't
are
even have
such
to have friends.
assholes
They'll
that
just
they
start
don't
cloak
have
camping in
friends.
fucking Tengus or Proteuses and shit.
Yeah,
if
but
they,
say,
they,
have you
they
never
don't need
gotten
friends.
your like mining barge dropped on by a solo T3C or something like
No.
that? And just
Yeah,
don't have
I've
that
actually
experience?
done that.
I
to
do.
people
I have
before.
that experience all the time, or had it. Thanks to mobile observatories, my T3C problem has gone away. You can call it to get yours now today.
What?
I don't know. Sound like an infomercial or something.
That was a
Anyways,
good pitch.
a
You guys
second
just
question.
have like 120 bombers just on standby all the time, like ready to go. Or, like, how does that work? Because
I
I'm pretty
mean,
sure, like, if you
most
had
second cities do.
like a spy for pings or like a spy in somebody else's group and you knew specifically that they were probably farming, you might just want to tell your guys to dock up. Like, I think there are already ways around this AFK cloaking shit, just that a lot of people seem to be lazy fucks about it. Like, and then it's like, all right, well, we got to stop them. I mean, I don't really care either way. Like, okay, let's stop cloaking camping, but 15 minutes is like way not enough time.
So you say like if Bombers Bar pings and Marshy is camping, you need to basically stop playing for 3 hours a day?
Yeah.
Well, to a degree, that was kind of how it worked to some degree with oracles, right? Or it
Yep,
used to work. I
that's
should
why I'm
say.
referring to that.
Just make sure that you have a solid fucking standing fleet ready to go. Like, yes.
I mean,
with oracles, you have
Sure.
a 7-minute panic. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know, cormorants, jackdaws, rapid light serbs are all counters to bombers. So I'm pretty sure you could destroy them with that.
okay.
So I mean, yeah.
Okay,
You,
so
you could
so I
probably
then have to
engineer your way
form
around the
a.
problem.
So then I have to form a 100-man fleet for a fleet that is nowhere near me.
You don't need to form a 100-man fleet, dude, to kill 100 bombers. Okay, like you really.
Yes, you
don't.
kind of do.
You
Like,
really don't. If you're in jackdaws, how many jackdaws do you think? Like, really though? Like, come on.
Depends. Do they get bombed on the warp end?
So we're assuming the standard Marshy fleet, which was 200 bombers, and you're going to fight them with what? 50 jackdaws?
Okay, so if we're talking specifically about Marshy, does Marshy play the game anymore? Because I
Well, that was the reference we were talking about. No, he doesn't play anymore. But like that's the example we were using.
I don't know. Maybe you limit people's the amount of accounts that people can fucking have. I don't know, dude. Like, because like obviously he's a very he's like I don't think there are like a million Marshies running around Eve right now.
But it
right?
wasn't Marshy with 200 bombers. It was Marshy with,
With
200
a
covert scouts
yeah,
with
yeah,
150
exactly.
bomber or 150, 200 bombers.
Correct.
Guys.
Correct. Yes, and I think that probably needs to be curtailed for sure. But again, that's like 1 to 2 players who've had that amount of success in this game doing that, right?
I mean, sure, that's true, but those 1 to 2 players were able to take quite a bit away from like large groups by just cloaky camping them for months on end.
I
So
will say, if
It
you guys
wasn't
have
just
never,
large groups either.
if
Yeah,
you've
it
never
was any
cloaky
group.
camped, like it's super easy. At the time, it was super easy to make an alt, like a T1 ship being able to fit a cloak, and you just go into a system and like cloak off some random moon and like double click in space to burn away. I like did that once with my friends, and it made people irrationally angry. Like I just did it like for like a weekend once while we were trying to hunt something, and like I would, yeah, I would go and check the logs. Like I never used the account, like blah blah blah. I was just trying to do it to like scare people because I had a really obvious like name. And they like I could go back and read the local logs. They got so salty by me just existing or my character just existing in their space. And it was the weirdest thing. Like people got really mad about it. And so I can totally understand when large groups get camped by warfare or whatever it be or Marshy or whoever. I can totally understand people getting like super salty about it because like one person doing it to a small group makes them really mad.
Well, personally, I actually take this change quite personally. I think it was actually a move to get me out of T5Z.
Yeah, I mean that is true.
We will miss you. We'll miss
I
you.
did.
Well,
I
That would
did
be
get a-
that would be the standard goon ideology. Everything's about you.
If that's the case, then this is the
Oh my
best
God.
change CCP has ever made.
100% on objective
I think
point.
my point is kind of being proven here.
It is. No, I will tell you point blank that we specifically told the representatives of the CSM to make this change happen so that you couldn't shit talk us in local.
Excellent. I will
there's
pass
no
that
denying it.
information onto Reddit.
Redline, we were under NDA. You can't just say these things.
I wasn't under an NDA. I didn't sign anything.
You guys have NDAs?
You guys are getting paid?
Well,
Anyway,
that
Look
means
how
that,
that
like,
rhymed.
like I expect you if you think you can kill 200 bombers. Yeah, I mean 400 Medfleet, dude. Like, let's go. Like, why wouldn't you do that?
well, if you don't have
I mean,
100 people to form,
Yeah.
then what? You just shouldn't be using oracles.
Oh, now are we afraid of the little? Okay, so now we're giving it for the little guy here, guys. Like, come on, dude. Like, we've been talking about, I've been saying for fucking months how hard it is for small alliances in the game, and everybody in this channel pretty much has told me how wrong that is. So I mean, if we never gave a shit about that then, I understand why we care now so much. But yes, you're right.
They
Some
don't
groups,
care,
there's some groups
Loki.
in the game. There's some groups in the game who really don't have the capacity to defend themselves in regards to certain activities in PvE, i.e., oracle mining, or
So,
even just
Loki,
super adding.
Let me inquire to you as how many Rorquals do you see out in your life on a daily basis? Because it's probably not as many as it was pre-scarcity, right? Is that a fair thing to say?
No, it's actually about the same now. It went down quite a bit during the whole let's take all of their EHP away and make them really easy to kill. That was pretty stupid. If you like to hunt oracles, I'd much rather deal with the extra EHP and have them like still be on field.
So do you think that carriers and to some extent super carriers are the ISK making tools used more often than Rorquals? Are they kind of the same, or what's your experience in that? In terms of like capital ships.
In terms of like how many have I found? We find I don't know, I find a generally almost an equal amount, dude. Like, to be honest, it's also much easier to like save yourself in a carrier or a super carrier.
Objection, Your Honor.
Is it?
Where's this going?
I got it. So, how is it easier to save yourself? I can see a super.
You're aligned out.
Point a super.
If you get tackled in a carrier, yeah, you're fucked. Correct. So the idea here is you're not like watching Netflix, right? Like you're actually playing the game.
You know what? Sustained.
Which I understand sucks because like
Sustained,
honestly,
Redline, we're gonna
the
change the
PvE in this
subject.
game is fucking horrible. But
You're
like,
not
and that's
the
another
judge.
thing. If you don't want people to be like semi AFK or fully AFK while ratting or doing other activities, like make the game better. Like just do that.
I don't see how anyone
be a great
AFK
percent.
carrier rats. I don't think that's actually semi-AFK. Like it's kind of impossible.
Redline,
Well,
remember
maybe
when I
I'll
said
break-
No, people just, dude, people not paying attention. I tackle them all the time. Trust me. People are not paying attention to local. People
But
are
yeah,
saying like,
that's
there needs to be a delay in
so
local. There really doesn't for like half of them because they're all watching Netflix. I just
the
go in and
reason
tackle them
I
with a fucking interceptor, and then like it's showtime, right?
the reason I brought that up was because of that exact point where the cloaky camper, if they're cloaked on grid, like I like an interceptor in my carrier warping off the fort grid before, and let me tell you, I was like spamming like the emergency jump button out of there as soon as I landed. Stuff like that can happen, right? And that's part of what the mobile observatory is because you don't it's a carrier, right? You don't really have a lot of counterplay if they're like ready to follow you with a bomber or whatever because your fighters just aren't there in time by
Yes, it's a
the time
large
they
part of
approach.
yes, it's a large part right now of hunting supers is just having a bunch of systems cloaky camped, and then eventually they say, "Well, I'm just going to do it anyway," and then you catch them. Now, do we give those like we're protecting those people because we think that those people are like people who should continue to be in supers? I mean, I don't care. I want them out in space so that I can go kill them in a different way or catch them in a different way. I'm not even like arguing that this is a bad idea. I just think that the 15-minute thing is really short, dude, and like I think it does impact other forms of cloaky gameplay. So I mean, what I think should happen is you probably just like lift that up a bit once CCP proves that it can actually work, because it will work for sure. Then maybe they move that up to 30 or something.
I don't know if 15 minutes is
the whole-
short. What I would say is that 40% is very high.
So by the way,
Or that, well, yeah, or that, sure.
Loki, the reason I brought this up was to talk about your point about just form like 100 dudes for the bombers because as you said, like half of the time, like half of the capital ships you find in the game do not have that ability because if you get caught in a carrier or in a super and it's any kind of like good form up, you're just kind of screwed.
Well, even if
Like,
it's a bad form up, dude, like you're fucked. Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree completely. Which is why you just
Yeah,
don't get
so-
caught, right? If you're gonna do it, don't get caught. If you get caught, you're fucked. That's pretty much
So-
it.
Thank you. I was pointing out that it is now easier to not get caught even if you are doing everything right.
That's true. I
That's
mean,
the,
I'll just blue. We just have to blue scout you, like that's all, right? And then the blue
Yeah,
scout
like,
doesn't have to be
I'm-
scout. Doesn't have to be
anytime.
sketchy.
Well, listen. Every light blue PH character is just great to me in my head.
Oh yeah, for sure. I
Everyone
mean,
treat-
yes, absolutely.
Everyone treats you the same way. It's not
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would say that as an ally to Pandemic.
That's
Horde, dude.
honestly part of the Eve survivability onion at this point. That
It's
if
PH.
you don't undock, then you can't be killed. So if you undock, don't be seen in local. If you don't get seen in local, if you get seen in local, don't be seen in local by a red. If it's not a red, don't be seen in local by a Pandemic Horde member because that's just as bad.
Awesome.
That's an
What about
interesting take.
faction warfare? Sorry.
What about?
Just
Like,
join
I
and
don't
say
know.
what about faction warfare?
Yeah.
Excellent,
don't,
excellent
we
strategy
don't-
for stirring the part. Let me
Thank you.
tell
We
you,
don't
that
do
was
that
the
But I mean,
greatest thing I've ever
there
heard
are
anyone
love
say
lot
faction
in this entire
warfare.
show.
there are a lot of cloaky campers in faction warfare. They're all like first time in a stealth bomber or a cloaky ship, whatever. They frankly kind of suck at it, and I think it'll shake that up a little bit at least. I
Ran?
mean, hi.
Your mic's pop filter is like falling off. Like the more you speak
It's
is like
very static.
worse quality.
Sorry.
I mean,
I mean, if
does
you know
anybody
anything
really
about
care
faction
about LoSec
warfare-
at this point? Like,
I mean,
honestly.
I care about Losec, but nobody else
I-
does. It's like me
Irrelevant
and
I would
seg.
be
Dynamite.
Loki, you
interested-
don't even live there.
I do live
I
there.
would be interested
No.
to hear his
No
point on
block.
faction warfare.
Yeah,
'cause I do not know
too.
anything about faction warfare, and
I
I
don't
want to be
think
educated.
that cloaky camping is being cloaked generally is like a major tenet of it. I think like hunting in like solo hunting in Losec has a lot of like cloaky T3Cs involved sometimes, but like the actual sites themselves, right, have an activation gate. So as long as you know how to like just have a like one AUD scan ready, like going, like you're pretty much good. The second scary things land on the gate, you just warp off. The gates decloak you anyway, so I
Or
don't know
you
if it
have
really impacts things.
huge hairy man balls and you take the fight.
Yeah,
I
or that. I
remember.
mean, like I'd take. That's
Yeah.
how I got into PvP. I really liked faction warfare sites.
Faction warfare with cloaking to me was some dude sitting in like a T1 frigate in a small, and then he would have T2 Logi cloaked so that when he got into a 1v1, he would decloak them and rep them.
Oh, you know
That's
what's
also
even worse than that? Well, A, first of all, the fact that curses are not on D-scan is really bad.
Yeah.
Secondly, you would just have like 20 Ishtars log off in the site. So then you'd have like, I don't know, a little thing, and I'd come in with just some random ship and go in to kill the Abyss, and then all of a sudden like 20 Ishtars would appear, and then I'd be scrammed, and then I'm just fucked.
If
like,
I
oh
was
my
worried,
God.
if I was worried about a combat recon at a Plex, I would simply probe scan it.
If I was worried about a combat recon, I would simply just not log in.
It's
I
true.
would not play faction warfare.
That's the outside of the survivability onion. If you don't log in, you can't get killed.
It's true.
I'd rather,
That is very
instead
true.
of being worried, I'd
I
rather sit in bait Punisher on my alt and a curse on my main and just camp a Plex until someone tries to take the bait.
Well, I mean, that is
also,
one
from
way.
what I remember when I was in faction warfare, and I hope I fixed my mic.
Yeah,
You
you
did.
sound
Yeah,
fine.
it's better.
From what I remember, I was in Minmatar and then Kaldari for a while, like way back. No, obviously stuff has changed, but I remember like Usha Khan and like the Minmatar like faction warfare big groups and stuff. Kaldari, I don't think they're around anymore. Calmil, but they had like big groups of people that would just go and like go through all the systems they were trying to take and cloaky camp it.
That's pretty cool. I
I mean, and they can still do that, right? To a degree.
Yeah.
You can still
Active
cloaky
about it.
camp things. You just have to be active. I think that my biggest concern, and to be honest, I have never cloaky camped. I never intend to cloaky camp, and I could not care less if cloaky campers can cloaky camp. But what I do care about is when it feels like the easy way out is taken, because being honest, there is no good reason for a cloak not to have a cycle on it that makes it so that it turns off. There's no good reason for that. Like Sinos have cycles on them, and everything else has cycles. Why not cloaks? Why
Because-
wouldn't you just have to have why couldn't you just have a non-repeatable cycle on a cloak so that after say 15 minutes the shit just turns off and then you have to turn it back on, and like you get a
Because-
5-second react time or you turn it back on?
The idea is that if you want to be intercepted in your cloaking activities, you don't want to be. If it's going to happen, then it has to be someone else acting, trying
No,
to prevent it.
it's simpler than that. It's the fact that unless they change it, obviously, all of the timed cycles like that, so Rorqual and Dread Sieges and Sino cycles, when you
Mhm.
red cycle them, they don't go instantly. So imagine you're in a cloak trying to like tackle somebody or trying to warp off, right? And you're near a stairway and you've got like, I don't know, 5 minutes left on your cloak cycle. So it'd have to be something independent of a timer on the object itself.
Is
Okay.
that true? Every single module with a cooldown, you can't prevent it before it
So
finishes?
Sinos, it's like Sinos, Sieges, Bastion,
MJD.
Yeah, like
Triage,
even guns, even guns that
Gun,
cycle,
yeah.
you can't turn a gun off mid-cycle. But I mean, the thing is though, is that why can't it be something different? I mean, maybe you could turn it off. Like, I get that it would require a little bit of, I guess, coding, obviously, but do you think that something like that could be, I don't know, a better solution than just saying, here you go, have this brand new structure that we have to now test and see how the interactions are with everything and make sure that it all works properly and quality test it for 3 minutes
Using
and
my
then etc.
using my psychic CCP powers, I can probably tell you that they tried to do that and they couldn't figure out how the code worked. And it just every time cycle in the game was turn offable, and they couldn't figure out what the code string was to fix it. So this was the next best thing.
Do you think so?
That is
The
probably
server works in ticks, so you have to stop on every second, which is why all the modules cycle by seconds. You can't do a half a second.
I don't understand what that means.
So you know, like
Just be
missile flight
honest.
time? So when
Sure.
missile flight time goes for like say 10.5 meters, it's actually half the time it's 10 meters, the other half it's 11 meters because you can't
Did you
go
see
10.5.
CCP Aurora's post on Reddit? Did you get that? Where you got
Why
that
would
from?
I read Reddit?
Oh, well, that's where I got. That's where I learned about that from. Fascinating work.
Oh no, I learned
But
from Elise like 5 years ago.
I
But
learned
it's
from
also
Yinton.
Video.
it's also the same reason why when you look at your align time, you have to get under 2 seconds because if it's 2 point something, it rounds to 3.
yes.
And here I thought dang ticks was just a meme.
No, the server always goes by ticks.
What? So if it's 2.1, it'll round to 3?
Yes, because you
Oh.
cannot go at 2.1. You have to go 3,
To-
2 or 3.
Well, ticks
Today
are
I
my
learned.
least favorite arachnid. I don't know about you guys.
Can we not talk about that?
I don't understand where that came from. Skyhawk, do the thing where you paid to mute Marius. I'll honor it this time, 100%, swear to God. Anyways, I guess we'll just have to see and wait to see how this cloaky stuff actually works. I mean, it'll probably reduce cloaky camping. People will still be pissy about it, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see, wait and see, kind of thing. Does
In
anybody...
my own personal experience, just flying around Delve and living in Delve, I have noticed a decrease in red AFK people in the system. That's not to say they're not cloaky campers. There are still people who are doing it. There are just significantly less so, at least this day, right? Because with any change, you have the psychological impact, which comes before the patch is dropped, arguably. Because people are like, oh, cloaky camping is dead, everything, before they even like knew what was really going to happen. And then today it came. We saw a lot of people decline because the psychological impact, whether it mirrored the actual reality of what was happening.
Well, nobody's
hit
got them built today. Like it's not like they're
No, we built them today.
Oh,
We have
really?
some
Okay.
anchored already. Yeah, we made them today. So
Average
They're,
people can't cloak
they're
a camper.
expensive
Joke's
as
on
shit,
you,
though.
Billy.
Jeez.
Just kidding, buddy. Just
they're
kidding.
50 million isk a pop to build.
Oh, that's all?
Thereabouts.
How many... Do you know how many copies the blueprint makes?
You can get BPOs for 110 mil.
Oh, so that's what that was. It's 140
Yes.
is what I saw in the patch notes. But I
How
don't know
long
if
They
that
might
was
have
a
changed
BPO.
110
research.
mil. 110
It
mil
is
BPO is really cheap.
60
Yeah,
days for M10, I think.
You guys
Could
pay
be
for
about that, though.
BPOs?
You guys
What a
pay for
bunch of
anything?
scrubs, dude.
You guys have money?
You guys just
It was a
don't have a giant
T20
library
joke. God,
at your
Oh,
disposal.
my
yikes.
boomer humor.
Yeah, we don't understand EVE history, so like just saying things that are in
I
EVE
bought the
history
It
books.
is
has
just
been
Read it.
bad.
noticed.
If somebody would like to
Oh,
throw me a saber BPO,
Moomin,
I'm all
are...
ears.
I can feel the tension in your voice, Moomin. You want to say so many things, but you're not saying them. Why aren't you
Oh
saying
no,
them?
I don't need to say anything.
Look at-
It's like it's your kind of show. That's it, really. So.
Did you get my joke, Moomin?
Oh yes, I did, dear.
Oh,
And hello
nice.
again. It's nice to see you again. It's been a long time since we were last on the show together.
I know, I've missed you.
Okay,
I've
how do
missed
you
you
not
too as
have
well.
us-
Thank you for the war.
Well, of course. I had no part in it. I just push buttons sometimes.
Thank you for all the bullshit in local. That's very fun.
Yeah, that was. I'll miss you, Moomin. Maybe we can work out some kind of deal where you can like sit in a shuttle at a deep safe and still talk.
No, I'm fine. I'm already in Horde. Don't worry about
You're
it.
free.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
are we just
good.
officially in the age of deployables now in EVE Online? Is that what's going to happen for everything? We need to
Deployables
fix...
and active gameplay being one button pressed every 15 minutes or so. Yeah, that seems like where we are.
There's a guy
Perfect,
in
dude.
there's a
Perfect.
guy in Twitch chat. He said, "Has anyone done a report with the past few MERs regarding Delve and the Guten constellation in Delve to see ratting ESS bank totals? Has anyone actually like talked about the MERs? I feel like we've had months where people just wouldn't talk about them.
The only people who ever used to talk about it were a certain alliance who no longer wants to talk about it. So
for some
Well, I
reason,
think
the
we're
MERs
like
are-
happy to talk about MERs still. Like no problem with that. I mean, obviously we're a little bit cramped on what we do for Delve at the moment, but we're okay with that.
I mean, you say you're
well,
okay
the-
to talk about it, but you guys didn't talk about it. Is the observation, not that you won't?
Yeah, it's like it's been lined up on the meta show for a couple of weeks, but certain
do
events got ahead
non-goons
of
watch that?
themselves.
It's been on the meta show though, like relatively recently, the last like 2 shows ago. Like it was more like how certain things were being omitted potentially, and then also how some of the MERs were extremely concerning. Not necessarily in reference to Delve, or not in reference to Delve at all. And then they also talked about fucking wormholes or something. I don't know. I watch a lot of meta show for some reason.
I'm sorry.
People just need to make more fucking shows so I can watch them at work while I do things.
I mean, just watch the ones that get published to YouTube, right? Like this
That's
show
what
that
I'm
gets
doing.
published
That's what I'm
every
doing.
Friday to the New Eden Post YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm on the fucking show though, so I don't need to listen to it twice. Trust me.
Yeah,
Wait,
true.
you don't ego watch?
Huh?
I do not go watch. I don't like listening. Nah, I don't know. It's just this is like my thing.
You don't like listening
Well,
to yourself
circling
talk?
back to
No,
the
I've
in real
actually gotten past that. Like I actually recognize myself talking now. Like before I didn't. Before it was cringe. It's like this process. But no, it's like I don't know. I just the debates. Like I don't know, man. I like to keep it fresh. I'm like Johnny Depp. I just don't watch my own movies. You know.
Okay, well that's fair. I mean, I guess kind of weird, but cool, I suppose. So, anyways, I mean, I think we've dug into the mobile observatories pretty handedly. We're kind of in a wait and see moment. I want to do something interesting and open the floor to somebody to just say whatever they want to say about whatever they want to say. Anything about.
All right, so there's this indie gem of a game on the
That
Steam.
somebody is not you, Marius.
Oh.
I thought it was a free for all. I was excited. Wait, what's the gym though?
Not quite yet. Not quite yet. We'll talk about the gem later when it's Marius's turn to talk in 2033. I think is when he's scheduled to be grown up enough to talk about things. But instead,
Goddamn.
I want to take a little segue, just a little bit of time, because we don't usually have the opportunity to have an elite level shitposter. Sorry, Moomin, that's the title I've given you. I hope that's okay with you. We don't have the opportunity to have an elite level shitposter on the show very often. So I want to give Moomin the floor for a few, just to kind of talk about his perspectives on things and see what do you want to talk about today, Moomin?
Oh, I'm just here to help you out. Really, talk about whatever you want.
Yeah, but now I want to talk about what you want to talk about.
Oh, come on, it's like, what do you want to talk about, Red Line?
I
Should
want
we
to talk about what
the
you want to
war?
talk about. I want to talk about what you want to talk about.
Oh my
because
god, just kiss.
right now.
What he's saying is,
Oh,
you know,
you ain't
normally
got
you talk a lot of shit, so here's a platform to talk some shit on Trash Talk
Wow.
Tuesday.
Exactly.
Coming from you, Billy, that's kind of funny.
So here's a
Moomin,
platform.
Do you know a dude named Brother Bob?
This is
Father Bob.
This is no doubt the #1 Pappy show. So go for it. Hit us with your best shot.
Yeah. So about this war of extermination, then you want to roll that one back?
Do I want to roll it back?
Yeah.
No. I like the problem with that comment is it's not the context it was actually said in. And like you guys are so like Nazi obsessed that you are like somebody said extermination. It means he's coming at us like the Nazis came at the Jews. Like, dude, extermination is just another word for killing you. And yes, I want to kill Goonswarm the organization. I have always said that. I have been very consistent.
In game, Billy. You gotta add in game to it, okay?
Okay. Yes. Well, no, Goonswarm the organization exists in the game of EVE Online. I don't need to add that qualifier.
It's true.
Okay.
I will allow that point.
It's like saying you want to kill Batman in the Dark Horse comic series.
Yeah, like
Yep. And left on your hands from circle jerking each other.
So wait,
I
do
mean,
you say
you guys.
want to fuck goons? Does that mean in game or IRL?
Oh.
That would mean in game.
And does it mean like?
Oh damn.
How do we mean fuck? Huh?
That's
I'm
the
not
joke.
convinced, Ray.
Oh my god, Loki.
I mean, you guys are so obsessed with the word exterminate. It's just like it's like laughable, and it's like your big rally cry. It's like
Okay,
Philly
well,
said he's
hold
going to
on,
exterminate us.
Billy.
He's coming for us. He wants you
Billy.
to quit the game.
Billy.
It's like, come
Billy,
on, bro.
Take a breath. Take a breath, Billy. Now, who used the word extermination? Was it goons or was it you?
I used the word. I said it is a
Right.
war to the death,
So,
a war of
no,
extermination.
Okay, you also said some other things as well, didn't you?
I've said a lot of shit, man. Like you got to be clear, clarify what you think I said.
Well, it's like, you say that it's a war of extermination, but then you say, oh, but it's just in game. But then you're on about making Mittens stopping playing the game.
Whoa. Show me when I have ever fucking said that.
Oh, well, I wrote articles on it. It's like
Show
I
me
got
where.
quotes on
Show
it.
me where I said I want to
Do
make
you want me to
Mitani
go
quit
and
the
get
game.
the articles then? Where
No,
you
I don't
kind of
read
gone
your
and said
fucking
things?
articles. That's like, do you read like toilet paper? Like, come on now.
I read
Well,
toilet paper.
I have to listen to it because I listen to all of the.
Okay, tell me
legacy
where I
town
said it.
boards. Yeah, sure. I'll go and get my article and I'll kind of
I've-
like link it in here. Okay?
I've said before that if the Mittani did quit the game, like not necessarily quit the game, but if he quit leading Goonswarm and all the other people that turned Goonswarm into the bloated husk of toxicity and stupidity that it is now, if they all left, that there wouldn't even be a war. Oh, my voice cracked. I'm a child. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. I'm not gonna lie.
Yep, I'm super embarrassed by it. I should just
Yeah,
cancel
Luke.
everything now.
Does anyone
Alright, that was a
think
good
that
show,
if
guys.
Carneros was running the Imperium, everyone would gather together to kill the Imperium?
Dude, if Carneros was running
Carneros
the
is so
Imperium,
nice. You be nice to
yeah,
him.
yeah, pretty much.
No one would want
Nothing. They would never invade anybody. He's just like, well, just like, just talk. We'll just talk. Well, diplomacy will rule.
Yeah, he
But-
would make everyone hate them enough.
But Moomin, to be fair, while you're pulling up your article, most of the articles that I've written, that I've read that you have written, are very subjective. They're based on your like what you are. I'm sorry.
You can't read.
I can read. Like they're based on his. Is that the right word? I don't fuck it. Whatever.
They're
They're
opinion
mostly
pieces.
opinion stuff. Like it's your take on what's being said, not necessarily what's being said. They don't have many quotes in them, and if they do, it is full of like what you think those quotes mean.
I think nowadays that actually qualifies as news, but that's just me.
Does it though?
Well, I don't know. You keep
No,
saying
does
these
it?
things.
Maybe.
You keep saying
Most
these
news
things,
is
and you
made
keep
up
saying
these
that.
days.
You keep saying these things, and you keep saying that you don't mean them, and then you like just the other week, Pro God Legend saying that he's going to follow us to wherever.
I didn't say the same things Pro God
No,
said.
Viddy, okay, let's kind of like get this straight, okay? With your kind of pappy council of wardens or whatever you've got going on. Yeah,
Whoa, okay, let's
you
stop
speak
there.
as a
Oh,
whole.
no. You brought up Council Wardens, so I want to talk about this one. So the Council of Wardens is something that Matterall made up that does not exist in the game that you have now made
so
a
Pappy,
propaganda point. Do you
Pappy,
admit?
do you have
do
a
you
council?
whoa,
Do you have a council?
Do you
have a
admit?
council in Pappy? Do you
No,
have a
there's-
council?
No, we don't. So,
Right,
do you
okay,
admit
so-
that not
so-
only was the council made up by my Matterall of all people, but you
Okay,
know
so
that
why
and have
is-
actively propagated that
Why
fact?
are you talking about having meetings, okay, with whoever is leading the campaign? Who is leading campaign of Pappy? Who is leading it?
Don't tell him.
Sir Molly, Bob's back again.
From the
Well,
barbecue.
clearly it's me running.
Shadu came back from
I am
his
the
fishing
hidden
trip and is leading the
puppet master.
campaign.
Because this is
leading the
like, let's be
campaign?
honest about it. It's like I'm going to try and help you out here.
Our leadership
Like,
team?
help you. Well, I'm going to try and help you out with where you actually went wrong with your war. Okay. For a start, the
okay.
extermination thing, completely useless. Why you use that language at all to motivate your troops? It was an idiotic move. Why did you do that?
Because it wasn't about motivating my troops. Because the troops don't need motivation in that regard, especially at
Then
that
why
point. in the
did
war.
you use the language? You could have
Because
just
it's
gone,
accurate.
We're just going to invade goons.
Yes, that's what we did.
Well, you didn't need the rest, but you put the rest.
It was an
in, didn't you?
interview where people asked me questions, and I
Okay.
answered the questions honestly, which is how
Honestly?
I usually act.
Really? Because your exit stuff from what you said about the Imperium, that wasn't honest, was it?
Tell me what stuff I said that wasn't honest.
Well, the thing is like I know that.
Whoa, no! Don't just like say, "Oh, you were dishonest." You said stuff. What stuff did I say that was dishonest?
Well, the title of the Polygon article was about you.
I didn't write I didn't write the title. I had nothing to do with the title.
Are you seriously
Okay.
trying to claim that mainstream gaming news is anything that it says about anything is valid?
So at that time, then, with that Polygon article going out, none of it is true. Yeah, all of it was misrepresented. Everything that you said. Yeah.
No, I gave
Right,
an interview and talked to
so-
them.
So how can we even know really like what is truth from you anymore?
So
it's like
let
you
me-
started this
Moomin,
war
So if
to
it's a
like kill
direct
goons.
quote,
One sec, Moomin. Let me give you my perspective on it and see if
Yeah,
this
sure.
helps out a little bit. So when I read the article, how I read it is that this is a war for extermination. because at the end of
Well,
this
we're still
war,
talking about the title, Redline.
That's fine. I don't really care about the title, but this war for extermination is a war for extermination because by the end of the war, one of the groups that are participating in it probably isn't going to exist anymore, because at this point, and then again, that is at the point where the Polygon article came out, it was okay. This war ends when goons die, or we die. That's the play.
Imperium.
And
Imperium
with
or
the
Pappy.
and with the test is next philosophy, you could see that is exactly what the war was a war of extermination, where by the end of it, one group is going to be dead and the other group isn't.
Yeah, but it's a war started on a lie. And that's kind
What
of my
lie?
point. The lie that you asked us first, Billy. You asked us to go to drones.
Do you want me to show you the conversation? I will literally fucking show you the conversation with Tony right now.
Oh, right. So you didn't ask us to go to drones.
I did!
And that's my point. Yeah? That's why this war is a lie. Every kind of like casus belli that you've used subsequently about goons being too strong or anything else is all based on that lie.
What?
Oh, I got him.
I'm not following.
Where's the lie?
Why is that a lie?
I
Because
get what he's saying.
the war is built on the idea that the goons are too strong and must be taken down. But if the goons were too strong, then why was Task asking for our assistance in taking down PanFam?
Because it was the
Test wasn't
easier
too
path.
strong?
Why was it the easier path?
The road
Because you're a
less
much
taken-
bigger blob.
But much bigger in what way?
Numbers.
Form the whole
What do you mean
blue
numbers?
base,
Because the
like
thing is, I
alliance.
did some stuff.
Do you think
on
Imperial
numbers,
Legacy is
and
smaller than
Legacy-
PanFam?
Legacy, okay, is bigger than Imperium at the start of this war.
No, my
Yes.
God. You actually believe that, bro?
Well, I went to Dotland and looked.
Okay. I went to Dot. Like, do you hear yourself sometimes?
No, yeah,
It's like
no,
Dotland.
I
Okay,
really-
the numbers you see on Dotland, my man. I'll tell you right now. The numbers you see on Dotland are not representative of the actual strength or size of alliances.
Right. Okay.
Lumen,
So what is?
So what makes a
Red Bomb's
system
one of the
show up?
biggest soft holding alliances in the game, my dude.
Yeah,
What-
well,
Okay,
my
so you
point
asked
here
what
is
is
because
the
thing is,
general
you keep
way
saying about who is more powerful and stuff
Okay,
like
so
that.
there's
But
three
I
main
remember
ways
when
you
we
evaluate.
went to X-47, we actually fought on a defended Keepstar, and we fought in Supers and Titans whilst outnumbered in X-47.
You weren't outnumbered, but like
We
let's
were,
go back to your point.
slightly.
You were not.
I was there, mate.
I was literally FCing some of the fleets, or a fleet there. We were not outnumbered.
You
Well,
were
I had my-
insane.
On Titans, we were.
My
Like,
abacus.
It was
my
close.
No, you
abacus is
also
still
weren't
solid.
outnumbered in
It was,
Titans.
you know, but they were going moot because we still took that fight on a defended Keepstar, and we were up for it.
And you won.
Cool. The mechanics
Yes, we
were also
did.
very different like that back then, were they not?
Sorry, what were different?
The mechanics around Titans and Supers.
Oh, well, changes keep happening all the time. It's like, well, I'm not sure what your point is there.
I'm saying you're saying that you took the battle in X-47.
Yeah,
You're saying that we took the battle in X-47. Look at us, we've got such big brass balls, right? And you know what? I'll give you credit. It was I don't know if it was all that ballsy, but it was a strong play, right? But under the mechanics of the time, attacking a Keepstar is massively different from attacking Keepstar at this time.
No, it's
Would-
not.
Okay.
Yeah, it kind of is.
No,
Bill.
for you because
Haven't-
you lost 70 Titans, but no, it's not really
Well,
that
aren't
different.
Supers and Titans squishier than they were in X-47?
Yes, they have a third of the HP. The way supercarrier fighter bombers work is massively different. The way Doomsdays work is different. The
Yeah,
way
but you've got
Dreadnoughts work is
more.
different.
That's
the way
whole
Fax
thing.
work
You've
is
got more.
insanely different.
You've got Legacy and you've got PandaFam. You couldn't have a greater number advantage if you tried. I mean, you are trying. You're trying to
Correct.
get mercenaries,
Yeah.
apparently.
All right, I want to see one Titan lost mail from a Keepstar.
In X-47?
Just in general in the game. Like, I want to see one Titan lost mail from a Keepstar.
Okay, so
You
just
have to
look
clarify
up the
what
How is
you
that
mean.
reports of
relevant?
M2,
Like,
right, I guess.
we could-
Have fun doing that, I guess. I don't
No,
know.
Just go
there's-
just go
what I'm
Erebus
saying-
losses and look through for X-40 or M2 fights. Like
No, I'm
there's
just
lots of
saying
them.
that Keepstars don't have a whole lot of like damage or anything. It's
The
just
Keepstar damage has nothing to do with it. It's the model size, the tether, and the PDS.
so positioning.
I don't know if it's so much positioning, but it's the way tether interacts in
Yeah, I
large
don't
battles
think you should
with the
talk about
power of the
position-
PDS with the model size.
I don't think you should talk about positioning with Insinos and Keepstars with Villy.
Oh man, you got me. I did so bad in M2. I never knew. This totally invalidates my ability to evaluate the usage of. Actually, it should make me the expert since I'm the one who's actually paid the fucking price in blood.
Well, I
What's your
don't know
favorite
about that.
position?
What? Sorry?
I would do it for you.
No,
It's a
Moomin said
song.
something there. So
That guy is kind of like, I'm done. That's still good enough. I still remember watching Elise and Killer kind of chuckling away.
okay,
So
bud.
you should have just gone for the one who headshot. In my
So
opinion.
yeah,
You're so
anyway,
dumb.
my point
Why do you
was,
have a spot on this
this
show?
whole war is built on a
Same
lie.
reason you do,
A lie
Marius.
that you
So we
started,
still
I
have not
know.
calculated that there is any lie. You have literally said that twice, and both times I've called you on it, you've been like, oh, stuttered, and then like moved on to a different subject and
You
pivoted.
asked us first. You asked us first to go and attack
Yes, I did.
Panda.
We have established. I asked you first. Yes.
So, would you have used the same reasons that you're using now if you're going to? If we said yes, let's go and attack Panda Fan, would you
No.
be going? Well, they're obviously too strong and too this or that.
No,
or the
if we
other.
were gonna go take drones, we were taking drones so that it could be our fucking like home eternal, like because the drones are the best base in the game.
I have a question though. Like, you're familiar with the term use of propaganda on Reddit, right, Moomin?
I've heard that there's some stuff on Reddit. I go there occasionally. It's quite a
Right.
funny play.
Okay, so you would probably assume though that propaganda, like the word propaganda, generally does not infer a sense of like truth to like the things that are being said. Rather, it's like things that are being said to push people in a certain direction. Would you kind of agree with that? Because like it doesn't really matter if the reason or the messaging that Tess pushed out was a lie or not a lie, right? I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's all propaganda. Same thing with the goons in most cases.
Oh
No
yeah,
matter if it was just
I
a
think
show
that,
of propaganda most of the time.
I think that you've got a reasonable point there because when we say like propaganda, it's like a reason, a story to get involved with something. And originally, when Pappy obviously started, you had everything behind you with the propaganda stuff. Goons was really, really strong. You had everything that you needed to get the job done. But as time has gone on, the stuff that you used to base your original premise for, like the war, it's become a bit stale because it wasn't very honest. Whereas I think that with the Goon one, we've just been really honest because I should be in NPC Delve by now, ages ago, ages and ages, and I'm not.
So, I just want to jump in real quick. So, do you think that we had to be coerced into attacking goons? We as in PanFam and everybody else. Do you think that
Well, I think
somebody
in
had to
attacking
approach
narrative-
us and say, "Hey, we want to attack goons, and here's why"? Or
No,
do you
absolutely
know
not,
that
Redline.
that it's realistic to say, "Hey, we're attacking goons. You want to come?" And everybody literally just is chomping at the bit to do that because fuck goons.
No, here's what happened. PGL and Billy said, "Hey Vince, you want to go attack goons?" And Vince was like, "Fuck yeah, okay, yeah. That's two birds with one stone. Okay, they're gonna destroy each other, and then we'll just be the superpower left behind."
And the thing is, I think it's important to kind of like note here that it's at two levels that you actually need to have that conversation. One is with the leadership side, and they would arguably go, "Yeah, cool, let's go and shoot goons." And for the membership, well, maybe they need something a little bit more, so let's spice it up. Let's give them something exciting to fight for. Yeah, let's tell them that all goons are evil and they need exterminating because they're toxic.
That seems to be how
And
it
here
works.
we
Yeah.
are.
That seems to be how it works almost every time. Like I don't really see the messaging coming out of large null blocks as being entirely or even partly truthful most of the time. The messaging that is from the top
Or
down
different.
in most cases, in a lot of cases, and we've talked about. I've given Vince a lot of credit for his messaging when the goons were glassing tribute, so that's not really on this. But I just mean generally, in null blocks, the messaging is kind of messaging to motivate and not so much messaging with like actual facts. But does it really matter though? If your
I-
troops are out there going for it, like who cares a shit?
I mean, I'm in PL, and literally like a couple months before the war started, PL and NC US time zone was fighting Test US time zone. Just like daily, we go fight in cash. It was a shit ton of fun. And then headliners like, hey guys, we're gonna go shoot goons. We're like, okay, sounds fun. Like there was no bullshit spin. I don't know why you guys have to deal with that.
Yeah, but that's the old team back again, isn't it? Just like the casino war.
The what?
World War B1.
What's
I mean.
casino war?
I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Yeah, no,
It's
the
that- it's-
casino war.
It's that war.
Yeah,
in
World War
Mario.
One B.
heard of
Wait,
that.
so there was a
Oh,
war
World
that
War
was
B?
fought inside a casino or something? What are you talking
Is this like a
about?
Vegas thing?
No, Rain.
Oh,
this
I
is,
love
this is
how
The
real
you
war.
Vegas
kind of like
fist
want
fight,
to
dude.
cling on to the name that you gave for it.
Yeah,
Obviously-
because
same,
you
to
want
be
to
honest.
cling on to the
You mean
you're
our
doing
war?
the same thing.
Oh no, no,
You know,
no!
because I
it's-
was definitely in that war, right?
Oh, were you?
No, not at all. I joined Goons in 2016, but pop off. And then Carly in chat is going PL and say they don't want to exterminate Goons. I mean, do you know that? Do you know a headliner 100% never said, hey, let's exterminate Goons? Because I'll wait for those fucking logs.
He would have told me if he wanted to exterminate us.
Why would headliner tell you anything?
Because we're friends.
Why do you think anyone doesn't want to exterminate you?
Like, they don't have to tell you shit about the game if you're friends. I'm friends with tons of people in your life from this game. I don't talk game shit with them at all.
Rain, I was joking. Like, you don't have to go into
Have
this.
you
further.
ever considered that there might be
Carly, when I
good
slam dunk
reasons
on you,
why
you don't have to call
everyone
me
wants
mad.
to
That's
go
how
shoot
you
goons?
troll Twitch chat,
You
dude.
can't dunk on me. I'm like fucking Dwayne
No,
Wade.
I'm talking to
bro.
Carly. He's like
Oh.
little pissy because I fucking slapped him out of Twitch chat.
Oh yeah, Carly, stop being a Carly.
Luke, bring your Vedmac and T5Z so I can shoot it, you fucking nerd.
Ooh, already lost one last night. It's not happening again today.
See, the good thing is that everyone keeps invading goons, so we just have we don't have to come up with a narrative. We're just like, we're going to get revenge against these guys, and then everybody's like, fuck yeah.
And the best thing this time is because last time when you went and said that you were going to come and find us again no matter what, and it would just be a matter of time, well, we believed you. So we built what we have built in Delve.
And we
Hi,
found
and
it.
welcome to
And
Delve.
it's
And
not
we've killed
working
it.
for you.
And how did that go for you?
Is going really well, actually. Like,
Is?
so
Is
much
it-
better
you
than
have
I thought it
6
would be.
systems left.
Well, you know what? Those 6 systems hold the entire force that is keeping you from doing anything more right now.
Look,
so
if you're not careful, I will replace the blanket that we've put in your cage with steel wool.
Why'd you
Go
call
for
it a forest
We'd
and not a
like it.
jungle?
Redline, how are you going to get out? You're trapped in here with us. You locked the door behind you, bro. You can't go out and change our blanket. You're in here.
Doors aren't locked? What do you mean?
We have plenty of jump bridges and ways to get out and keep star chains, unlike the certain Goon Alliance who is in fact locked in.
Jeremy,
Yeah, which is
by
kind
all
of
means,
amusing because when you kind of like look to history, is the Golden Horde, Genghis Khan, all of that side of things, always insisted on leaving an escape route for your enemy because it's way easier to dislodge them. So why didn't you leave us an escape route? Why did
Because
you make
this is
that
a war of
schoolboy error?
extermination.
There is
You've
an escape
answered
route.
this question
There is an
yourself.
escape route. No,
Also,
there's an
the
escape route.
escape route is asset safety.
The escape route is fucking put mittens to the curb.
Is you talk to Villy or one of the other big leagues and you tell him, hey, I'd like to get out of Delve. And they go, okay, where do you want to go?
Why
And
would
it's
I
happened
listen
a
to
lot of
people
times.
that have been lying consistently for over a
Well,
year?
if the
about
proof
it?
is single
I can't believe you guys haven't mentioned this yet, guys. The obvious escape route for goons is Banana Republic is recruiting, and you guys can totally just join the corp, and I'll take care of you. It's gonna be
Bingo.
Great.
So you're
I have
asking why you
videos.
listen to people who've been lying to you forever, and you're in Goons. What?
I have videos, and well, not videos. I have screenshots of people moving
we don't want your
faction
videos,
supers,
Jeremy.
faction supers out of 1 to Q. There's people who are moving super action ships and explaining this is all the time.
Jeremy, they're
Okay,
not going
so
to believe
if
you.
you're
Everything we
moving
say is
so
lies.
many
There's been no
caps-
supers and titans jumping out of Delve at all.
Yeah, so let's kind of get this straight because if you're buying all of the supers and titans and you've got so many supers and titans, why aren't you using your supers and titans?
Why aren't you?
Oh, no.
We
We never
Because you guys don't ever leave tether range.
we never said that. Like, where did you think that they were? Hold on, time out here. You assumed that they are going to join us. they don't have to join us. They can go and do whatever they want to. We've said it a few times. A lot of times they go just to other places that aren't goons, and we don't.
What,
like.
do you think that
follow
there are
them.
not all parked at 1DQ, like ready and waiting? Is because that's where everything is. Everything is.
I want to address Marius's comment about no tether. So Marius, did you lose an Eagle fleet just recently, like 70 Eagles or some shit like that in 3-Tech-T?
Were you on
I
a
haven't
Keepstar?
FC'd hacks in a long time.
I didn't say
so-
you FC'd shit because we know you don't. Did you
Uh,
lose?
Bill, point of order. Were you on a Keepstar? Were you in tether range on said Keepstar?
I'm just saying. I just
Yes or
noticed
no?
that a bunch of
Yes or
ships
no?
died
Yes or
to
no?
fighters. And
Yes or no?
well, Redline. If
And those
fighters are
carriers,
deployed, the
those
carriers aren't
carriers and supers
tethered.
were on tether.
I'm just
However-
proving that I know game mechanics and Marius doesn't. That's it. That's it.
Well, what you're proving instead is that we said something that was very clear and had a very specific condition to it, and then you said something that completely went against that condition to try to use it against it.
Stay tethered, and we don't stay tethered because we have fighters deployed.
No,
and
no one
carriers
said that you
can't
stayed
tether
tethered.
with fighters
What was actually said was that you don't leave tether range, and you didn't, and you haven't, and you won't.
Wait,
there
Bill
was no
was
tether range.
Bill was actually trying to say that because they detethered when they launched fighters, that they weren't on tether range. That's what he was
Well,
trying to say. Am I getting this right?
That's what tethering means, Marius.
I said tether range.
No, you didn't.
I mean, I don't know. I'm saying
You're
tether
so dumb.
range. I'm
I
saying
can't
tether
believe you.
range.
Every
Those are the words I'm
every
using.
time you open your mouth, you stoop lower. You're digging a deeper trench.
Marius, it's okay. Look, man. It's
if
all right.
Goon-
People love you.
Sorry, was Morris talking to a mirror there?
Wow, fucking nice one, dude.
Goons
Mario-
Where
really
did you
had
learn
the
that?
advantage, they would drop on YZ9.
Marius has a projection problem. You just have to. He's like our little kid that we keep around to help his spirits out. Sometimes he just needs a little help every once in a while.
Are you unironically calling? Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. That's very rude. It's a very rude thing to say. Anyways,
I mean,
people
he's just-
people in
he's like our
Twitch chat
special-
saying what I said and didn't say. I think I know what I said. Okay, I'm the one who said it. But you can clip it if you want. That's fine. That's cool. I don't mind. Anyways,
Clip it, boys.
So those supers and carriers and whatever, all those things are in tether range, and the point that's being made is that you are not willing to leave said tether range. Yes, you will go ahead and
Really, is this what
send
this
out
show
fighters.
has come down to, where you're like kind of mentioning about us being in tether range or not?
It's Trash Talk Tuesday, dude.
I mean,
No, but
I
this
mean,
is-
you
this
brought
is-
up the
come
why
on,
don't
there's
you
way
fight with
better
supers?
stuff
We're
you
telling
could
you
be
why we're not
talking
fighting with
about than
supers.
this,
It's not
surely.
fucking rocket science. You asked why we're not fighting with supers. We're telling you because there's nothing to fight.
if you want to tell us that you can't follow like the path of a conversation, Moomin, and that you just want to duck out of the conversation in any kind of reasonable debate ever, then we're open to that. But you just have to
Reasonable
say
debate.
that out loud.
We're at war for extermination, dear. There is no reasonable debate anymore.
Okay,
Well,
well,
Moomin,
we
I
can
still
settle
want
for
to hear
logical.
why. I wanna
Damn,
hear
bro!
why-
Somebody's fighting me in a video game. I can't talk reasonably about this shit.
Well,
not if
no,
it's a
it's
war of
like I don't need to.
Billy,
do I?
when is the last time you talked reasonably about shit, Billy? Let's be real now. Come on.
Yeah,
Right now.
Billy, when is the last time you talked reasonably about
How many
anything?
times have you yelled at me on this show and called me a Riri? And I don't even fucking drop a
Zero.
short bus.
Zero
None, 'cause
times.
we can't use that word.
We don't use that word here, sir. 0 times.
Sorry.
Just
I
say
didn't even know
idiot
that
if
word.
you're
I didn't even know
so
that was a word.
unimaginative.
Holy
You
fuck.
can't think
That
of
is
literally
actually
anything besides
very
ableist
apt.
slurs.
That's very apt,
Just say
Bill,
idiot.
because you were the one calling me special with a negative connotation
You
right
are
there,
special. I
like a
didn't-
minute ago.
How did I mean that in any negative way, Maris? You are special.
Special.
So okay, so you are
Special
unironically
Maris.
like. I honestly don't know how to deal with you.
You like you're manufactured by Kellogg's. You're a special K, bro. You have all the 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, Marius. You're
Did you Google
Plus
that so you
ketamine.
knew what was in Special K?
what? No, that's I would assume that all 8 essential vitamins and nutrients are in any kind of breakfast form, right?
This episode
No,
of Trash
dude,
Talk Tuesday
breakfast
brought to
cereal.
you by
Except a blue donut. Except a blue donut doesn't have
Yeah,
all
no,
sorts of vitamins
that's
and
only
nutrients.
poisonous, isn't it, Bill? Blue
Y'all talk
donuts
shit
are
about
very-
blue
donuts
donuts
for
until they
breakfast,
show up
dude, not
at
good.
Vegas and you get free blue donuts. So keep talking smack. We'll
They
see
all
how
talk
long that
shit about
lasts.
the blue donut until blue donut wasn't them.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, Jesus Christ.
I mean,
dude,
we
like
may.
that's
Well, you
that's
keep
actually
saying that, but
quite,
it's like
that's quite
four
blatant. Like,
regions. Four regions we like have.
The 4
Yeah?
regions.
Dude, you were
were,
extended all the way up into fucking tribute. You had
We
a
were like-
Keepstar and KQK.
We were like a mini donut at the. We were like the little ones that you get
No,
at
no,
the
no,
gas
that
station,
was
little
a
8
hard-
packs.
And it's
that was a
important to
hard
remember,
Keepstar.
the entire time you were nipped with us. So you weren't attacking anything in the entire South, and you could effectively add
The
all of
only
our space
reason
to
we
your
were
control.
nipped with you was basically as a security blanket because you weren't able to stand on your own.
We had to take care of you.
So
Billy.
why were you nipped
Yeah.
to us then?
It's like
You were-
UALX.
What did you get out of that?
We won
As
that for
goons,
you.
what did you get out of that nip?
Well, I mean,
ULX, you guys
could've-
want to for us?
We
Okay.
could have attacked you, but then it would have just been like, "Why are you picking on the little guy?"
But I
But
thought we
nobody
were bigger
cares
than
about
you.
that.
We gave Test another chance, another crack at the whip to actually not be a bunch of dick bags like it was back in the Fountain War. Now, how do I know it was
Language
dicks
movement.
back in the Fountain War? I was in Test at the time. So, yes, I know a little bit about Test history.
Wait, so
Not
you're saying
particularly
Test when you
pleasant.
were in it in 2013 was a bunch of dickbags?
Oh, completely, yeah.
And now
They
I'm
lied
killing
completely.
I'm killing you again in 2021.
Well, no, because
So
then I
I'm
kind of,
killing the
like, ended up
dickbags again.
I
What
needed to be in,
amazing coincidence!
I went and joined Goons afterwards, after the Fountain War, and then I flew under this guy called Villy for a bit. And
Yeah, I'm sure I
well,
was
I've got
terrible.
some stories there. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
And then he kind of ran away because he got upset about some stuff or whatnot. And now he's back on the scene again.
Yeah. I wonder what those things I might have been upset about are.
Yeah, it was like.
Can you guys just say it? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
I was upset with a lot of the RMT or like Imperium related
It was just like
merchandising
you were
stuff, like
upset
the
about
book. And...
coming back and not actually knowing anything about the doctrines and people laughing at you because you were calling for the wrong stuff.
Yes, I'm
Billy,
sure
tell
that's
us more.
exactly it.
Billy, tell us more.
Ham goose and rail goose. That was a great one.
Dude, that was a year and a half before I left. Do you even remember the actual timeline?
Yeah, you left about the summer of 2015-ish, maybe a bit later than that.
You're all right, Boomer.
And what was the meta at that time? Ham goose and rail goose?
Well, it actually had swapped, and that's why you got thrown by it.
Oh, jeez. Okay, bud.
But you did kind of like go off
And
in
what
a little
position
bit
were
of a
you
huff,
at in
shall we
Goonswarm at
say.
the time?
Sorry?
What position were you in Goonswarm at the time?
Oh, position. So now it comes down to position. What, you rank higher than me, did you, Viddy?
No, it's more so what kind of situation would you have to have any knowledge about my leaving?
Well, I was around quite a bit.
It's odd how none of this
that
ever.
was so great, Moomin. You're doing so well, buddy.
It's odd how none of this ever came up any time until all of a sudden I was not liked by the Imperium.
Well, I've never had to worry about it, and you never used it as a reason to go to war with us before.
So I used my leaving Goonswarm as a reason to
it
go to
seems
war with you
It
guys.
definitely turned up, and you said that it's like you consider Mittens to be toxic leadership as well as other leaders, and they should be out of the game.
Yes, but that isn't why I left.
Oh, well, okay. So why did you leave?
Because I did not like the Imperium literally using its members as fucking credit cards. I did not like being asked to fucking advertise for a fucking book starter. That is literally the last conversation I have with Mitani on Jabber.
Okay. Are you writing a book at the moment, aren't you, Vinny?
No.
All right. I'm just sure that I've heard you mention before that you're writing lots of stuff about your memoirs.
Yeah, I was actually going to write my history in Eve for part of my CSM stuff. I haven't finished, obviously, more than a couple of years.
And how is that how is that at all relevant to using members to advertise a Kickstarter for a book?
And it
It's
wasn't
not.
as well.
He's just
I mean,
pivoting.
it was a case of, like, if we're completely honest,
Listen,
about
buddy,
that period.
as Villy's agent,
It
I have
was a
to insist
Kickstarter.
that you stop talking about this, okay? As Villy's agent, I have to insist. It's gonna hurt the book sales, all right?
It's not,
Shut up,
you're gonna have
Kissity.
you have some test war bonds for it though, right?
Some dino dollars, as they should have been called.
Pickle pennies.
So your kind of justification for toxic leadership was a book that they tried to actually get a Kickstarter going for that failed miserably because they had no idea of what they were doing, and that's like them RMTing somehow for a book that never actually was even written or started.
To me, I view the trust people put in me in this game of EVE Online as a pretty sacred thing. I know you guys don't get it, and it's going to sound fucking corny and whatever, and take it for what it's worth here. But I view the trust people give us
I
as a
put
pretty
trust in
sacred
you,
period.
and then you broke the deal. The
Okay,
nip
dude, shut up for a
slipped.
second. I'll try
The
to
nip
explain.
slipped, Billy. You
Okay,
broke my trust.
so I'll try to explain this. So I view the trust people put in us as leaders in this game as a pretty sacred thing. And to me, for somebody to see that trust and use that trust to enrich oneself outside of the game, which was already happening before the Kickstarter with the INN related Sony stuff and all the rest, to me, it was breaking that trust, and I couldn't be part of it. And I left quietly, and I didn't say much about it, and I still haven't said much about it, and it is what it is, and it's long
Right, then
done.
this whole war, you've used that kind of experience.
I
as
have never
justification for
once described this experience before this conversation.
Show
It
the
would-
receipts,
it's like, you
Moomin.
know,
Show
so-
the receipts.
Can I just say though, like the goons have driven away a significant amount of FCs in the last couple of years, like shockingly. Like and like relatively like high quality FCs, like people who've gone on to do other things very successfully.
Such as?
Obviously. Well, Pittsburgh, Villy.
Right, really 5 years ago.
Philly was like 6
Pittsburgh-
years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, what the
I get
hell
what
are
you're
you
saying,
on
but that
about
was like
there?
6 years
Did I
ago.
not say in the last couple of years?
Couples too.
Was Pro God in Goons ever?
No,
Did I
he's
not say
never
in the
been in
last couple of
games.
years?
No,
'Cause,
no.
like, I did say the last
Couple
couple
is
of
up
years.
to 3, to be
Yeah,
fair.
you're forgetting Redline.
Couple is
Come
actually
on.
2. Last years,
Redline
I
is
don't know.
one. Didn't most of
One
Trainwreck
what?
Diplomacy
Wow,
or
do we
whatever
have-
it was
Wait,
go
wasn't
from
there
Goons?
Do we
who
really
was
have to
space
include Redline here?
violence?
I'm just
Did
kidding.
space violence leave? Wasn't there like a group that splintered off? Like they left amicably, but they started like a small gang group.
By the end of it, you had Mike Flood, who had never really done that much, and I like Mike. I have a very good relationship with Mike. I know him relatively well. Okay, I'm not talking shit about Mike Flood, but a relatively new FC in a position where he was holding up the whole thing, and like Jay was running fucking super fleets or something. But like, you know what I mean? Like, you got to that point. Like, there's obviously a fucking problem. Like, I'm not a fucking rocket scientist, but trust me, dude, there's a leak. There's some kind of issue there with whether it's leadership or
sorry,
whatever.
why
I'm
are you
not gonna
saying
point
that there's a
towards
leak or like leadership? There again, you're
when
being
you have to start
incredibly
paying
vague here.
FCs. When you have to start
Let's
paying.
talk about
When you have
Pittsburgh, yeah?
Asher, and then you have to
Let's
get
talk about
Eula
Pittsburgh.
running.
Loki,
Okay.
Let's run with the Pittsburgh one, yeah?
You're chugging the Kool-Aid a little too much there, Loki.
Who thinks that Dran was involved somehow with the Pittsburgh situation?
Dran?
Who's Dran?
Dran.
What
Dran
manner?
Arcana? Like test?
Yeah,
Dran
it's
is
like
really
they test
boss,
Diplo.
Lorraine.
I have no idea.
I don't know. I'm curious. How was Dran involved?
Oh, well, it's a case of like it was all over a Diplo incident, wasn't it?
I didn't think there was.
I'm curious. Do you not know the history on this, and you're trying to bring it up?
Oh, well, it's a case of like I wasn't actually playing the game at this particular point in time because I only came back when I got the.
So I'll give you a
call
hint,
of,
Moomin, before
Horn
you
of
dig your
Doom.
hole any deeper. At that time, relations with the Imperium were so bad that no Diplo was allowed to talk to goons from except myself. So I'll let you just move out of there.
And okay, and
So Dran Arcana was probably not involved through that. Do you like want the story of what happened with Pittsburgh, like the short of it?
yeah, I mean, it's like it's something that I'm kind of like. I know that it was to do with like a dread bomb. I know it was to do with a structure being used that he shouldn't have used. But I also know that Pittsburgh has been around for quite some time, and he can easily navigate stuff when he wants to. So I was a little bit surprised by Pittsburgh actually going the route that he did. I've been on lots of his fleets.
Pittsburgh took a fight. He whooped some dreads. It was a fairly decently sized loss. He was removed from Goonswarm. and then went on to cause the biggest loss of a Goon Swarm Locust fleet, most workable history of the game, when he proceeded to dread bomb whatever one of the
Yeah, that's
Locust
fine.
fleet
It's like I remember that because it was a
So-
case of like when I kind of heard that Pittsburgh went, I thought this is going to be funny because he used to run a lot of those Locust fleets, so he knows exactly how they run.
It's not just that though. He's a highly competent FC.
Oh yeah,
He's
I mean
one
he's
of
like
the
he can do his
most
shit as well.
Oh my
competent
god,
people
y'all are
in this fucking
giving
game. Like
Pittsburgh so much credit. Look, he
by a
goes
large
for the
factor.
fucking Penguins. Like the guy's not that smart. He's a Penguins fan.
Yeah, no, I mean it's like Bill does raise a very good point there about the Penguins, but aside
He
from
also
that,
will never see
What
this
are
episode
the
of Trash Talk
Penguins?
Tuesday. Just so that you're fully aware, like you can talk shit about him, but he will never hear it, ever.
Yeah, he will.
Oh, he will.
No, he won't.
He will.
I promise you, he won't.
Oh, mailing.
You're trying to say that Redline's a good FC? He can't even count the 3.
Oof! Out of nowhere, just fucking Sager comes in to drop that bomb and then deuces out. Huh? That's how it goes.
No, he's still here. I just don't know why he switched from saying "fuck goons" to something else that he repeats
fuck Redline.
constantly.
No, I'll still say fuck goons.
Okay, fair enough.
So what we're
Cool.
talking about not Red Line, Pittsburgh anyways for. Oh yeah, he's a good FC and he lost. I mean, when you look at Goon Swarm, you look at who's taking out these fleets, it's
not
very
giving us their
different from
best.
who was doing it at the start of this war. When you
happened
look at
to Asher
FCs
and
for
John?
Yeah, when you look at FCs for Pappy versus FCs for Imperium, the Pappy roster, they've signed a few dudes, but it's still a lot of the big same name FCs. So Sandrin,
So sorry, just if our
Billy.
roster's so bad, what's happened the last week every time we've had a fight?
What's happened the last week is that the game plays very in favor of the defenders in fights like this. You can set up like 200 of put your fighters out before get there and just untether range AFK with a fighter block big enough to volley 3 hacks at once. That is
Sorry,
what happens.
It's almost like you're saying that this defensive positioning and strategy that we've taken up is a good idea. I feel
Right.
like I'm
So
hearing
my
that from you.
point though wasn't that you still don't have good FCs. My point was that there was literally a fucking Congo line leaving the Imperium over the last couple of years, which I
Yeah.
find fucking really
Well,
troubling.
there again, it's
especially
like we
considering that
talk
before
about
this
this,
war
and
started,
one of the names that
before
you
the war-
gave was like Billy, and the thing is like I'm not kind of appreciating,
Billy
I
would-
guess, really
Billy
all
would
the
be
people
the-
that you're saying is like leaving.
So Billy
So
would be
who are
one
they?
of
You've
the
got Pittsburgh. Who else you got?
what the fuck, Kelmac? Was that not a dude that left
Headliner?
your fucking thing?
Wait, what the fuck, Jeremy?
What?
Just shut the fuck up and let the smart people talk.
No, you let
Red
Jeremy
Liner.
talk.
No, Loki, there's been like maybe a handful of SCs who've left Goon Swarm over the last 5 to 6 years. There's not actually a whole.
Dog
No,
Swarm?
that's even include. That's
Oregon
even
just
include
endlessly
Dog.
AFK. You guys had a
Did he?
serious FC issue just before Tess basically ended the nip and then the whole thing started. And then the Matani was on the meta show saying, you should have just let us, basically die. You've rejuvenated our fire. And then next thing you know, Elo is there and Grath is joining
Yeah,
in
it's
and all
always.
this other
To
shit.
be
is
honest with you,
happening.
though, Loki, it's like this is the case though, because back in the casino war, it was a case of prior to that, we were very kind of stagnated. I was bored as hell. I was very glad that the casino war came along. I must confess, I wasn't quite expecting that, but whatever. But it really helped us out as an organisation because we had become fat and lazy, and it gave us an opportunity to revitalise, which we did down in Delve. So, I don't necessarily have any regrets about this. I don't have any regrets about this war because it is the funniest war to date. This by far is the funniest war.
In terms of everything.
Everything.
Even Bill doesn't know how to respond. He's like, "What's funny about us losing?"
Sorry, so you're losing. So what are the win conditions for you, Vinny?
To remove you
when I
from
say
1DQ.
you, what I mean is the Pappy leadership board, or whatever you want to call it.
The Council of Ordnance.
We all have our own. We all have our own objectives and goals.
So enough
as
of that.
different.
It's like if you can't get together and actually have a meeting and work out what you individually want as a win condition, and then kind of wrap that up in some overall goal.
So you have to stop because you said we individually want. So we as a group are a group of alliances that as soon as this war is over,
Use
are
the right
going our
word,
separate.
council.
As soon as we, as a group,
The
are
council.
done with the war, sure, call it a council, call it whatever you want. As soon as the war is over, we all go back to shooting each other, right? There may be a
No,
short
you don't.
little period.
No, you don't. Because
Oh, we
Yeah,
Norris
we
has gone and
fucking
said.
do. Me and
Norris-
Malachi and Star are
Norris
already
has
fucking
said
talking
that you're
about
going
fighting. No. You've
No,
had your
Norris
talk.
has
Let
said
me
that you're
talk.
going to be blue for a lot longer than people actually realise. Now, Norris is saying that, and that's obviously the leader of Winter Coalition. So, is he talking shit, or
what's
is
his
he
exact
wrong?
quote?
Well, it's like it was over on TIS. What the exact quote? Go and watch TIS or keep.
No, dude, you
Why
gotta
don't
stop
you just
doing that.
even ask
You
him?
always
I mean,
just
it's like, do you not ask?
You're like
every
an
time
anti-vaxxer, Newman. You're like an anti-vaxxer. You're
every
like,
time I
go
ask
on
you-
Google and look at it. It's on Google. If you
every
have
time we ask you what
fucking
people
proof,
actually
just
say,
sit
you're
down.
like, "Oh, you just go check the sources so that
I'm
we can
pretty
waste our
sure
time,
that-
so we can
Carl,
tell you that they didn't say
anti-vaxxer,
what
where
you
are we
think
going
they
with that
said."
one? Are we going to go on
Norris-
to like calling me a terrorist next? Is that the next bit?
Norris
Oh
said,
my
Norris
God.
said on Talking in Stations that the blue donut will exist for a very long time. Now, that's what Norris said. Apparently, according to this conversation
the
here,
quote?
there's a little bit of a. I just told you, Billy. God damn it! Can you listen? So it
No,
sounds
you
like
didn't.
there's a little bit of differentiation amongst the council. This council needs to get together and get on the same
Bill, you
page.
just
But part of his
Need to-
point,
but
Bill.
give us
They
the
need to
fucking quote.
counsel
Okay,
each
so
other.
hold
Part
on.
of
Time out real
his
quick. Time out real
point,
quick. Hold
Bill.
on. Time out real quick. Civilli, he does bring a good point. We should probably convene the council and talk about this. But first,
Definitely.
we're gonna have to create the council. So,
Yeah.
So
shit.
I shall send the
Red line.
ravens.
Wait,
Red
he
line.
Does
said
anyone
verbally.
have
He
a
said this
fortress
verbally,
of
right?
solitude?
Did
I
he
hate
say
to
this
s-
verbally?
Redline, you're not included in the council. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you.
Um,
He
This
was
is
he
a
was talking on
cultural.
the
He was talking,
TIS
not
show.
typing.
He was talking on the TIS show, and he did like an hour-long show with
Matterall.
Matterall.
Okay.
Ooh, I
No,
like
I
the
was just
Grey
gonna check
Council.
the
Can we
logs,
call it
but
the
if
Grey
Quite
he
a
talks,
Council?
few
I'm not
interesting
gonna
things
watch
on
it.
that show, actually. Like I remember the one that he's talking about.
Look, whatever Uncle
So this
says
is
is
a
obviously
cultural.
100% fact. Like he doesn't tell lies, and of course, you guys are totally right. We're gonna be blue forever. It's all there is
And
to
Norris
it.
is
Just
definitely
forever.
not known to troll.
Because that will
No,
be
hold
a
on. So
great
what
turnout
I'm
for
interested in here
EVE Online. That'll
is just
definitely help
simply
our alliances stick together and actually have fun in EVE Online. Is to just be blue. Like you have to understand how absolutely brain dead of an argument it is to say you will be blue forever. Like fuck no, we will not be blue forever.
Oh, Redline, are you going to jump the goons? Is this
Can't
a little
wait to
bit of
shoot
a
Marius.
jump ship?
Do you want to come and
here?
join
I
the
can't
winning
wait to
side
shoot
again,
Sager.
Redline?
Huh?
What
You
are
gonna
you
come over
talking
here?
about?
The whole council thing, it brings a difference between Goons and Pappy. In
No,
Imperium,
I'm not
whatever
going over there. Your
Matani
alliance is
says
trash, and I hate it.
is law. Like whatever Matani says in the Imperium is law. Pappy is made up of individual leadership. You don't have like a crowned prince of the Pappy Alliance who makes all the decisions. That's like the war going on.
Well, you can't even make a decision at
no,
all.
hold
That's
up.
what it
Wait a
looks
second.
like.
Wait a
But
second.
the
You
oh
said
my
we don't
God.
have a.
Council of War.
You said we don't have a crown prince, but Villy gave me this Burger King crown and told me I was the Prince of Pappy.
Princess.
The
maybe.
prince that was promised.
I think you
Bill Cosby.
The
too.
once and future king.
I
Red
think you
Line.
misheard. I think you misheard Poopy. I think you misheard Poopy.
Oh,
Wait, wait
jeez.
a
I'm
second.
logging
Is
in,
this
Dave
the
Archer. I'm gonna go
Bill
feed a
again with
hack
the
fleet.
playground insults.
Did you guys
Is
see
the
the royal
usual
family had
propaganda
another addition?
narrative that PanFam is being Villy's pets? Isn't that the usual narrative? Which one do you have? Which one is it? You can't have it both ways.
I don't know what happens in your mind, Gregorian, but it's one of those. I can assure you, it's one of those that you have up there.
Okay,
Yeah, but
cool.
pick one.
At any
I
rate,
don't,
we
I don't
don't
know what
have
goes on over there.
each individual alliance, coalition, to some extent corporations. Oh, we should talk about the corporation recently, Redline. That's a topic we can talk about.
That was hilarious.
We don't need to talk
Fucking
about that.
laughing.
That was
No,
that
we
was
need
so
to talk-
stupid.
Wait, what happened?
Nothing. Don't
We'll
worry
talk about that
it.
in a bit. They
IFA?
have their own goals, and it's not necessarily well. Here's the Pappy War goal, and here's their war progression, and here's their It is individuals.
Look, the
fighting
sooner
this
you
war
stop lying to yourselves, the easier it will be, because you only need to look at the
Hi,
local
pod
count
meat
to
kettle.
know that your numbers are going down because people are setting their own goals because you don't have them.
So how much do you think our numbers are going down?
Well, I'm just like going by T5Z every single day, And they
so the
are
T5Z
down.
local count is going down. So
Yep.
that's your
And your
metric.
form up numbers as well.
Oh, and our
And
farm
this
ups
is the
for
7th week of the siege.
Yeah, but
Can
Titan
I
numbers.
just say, and I'm pretty sure Luke can
IQ. I
agree.
noticed the IQ is going down a little bit too.
Yeah.
Can I just
Well,
say, and
that's
I'm pretty
because
sure
we keep
Luke
getting
can
goon members.
Am I muted?
No,
No,
Caleb's
keep
got
talking,
three.
dude.
Keep talking.
Hi,
And
Kel.
can I just say, and I'm pretty sure Luke can agree with me because as
Wait, Kel, how
two
are you
out
doing
of
today?
I'm doing pretty good. Cheers, Bill.
I'm doing all right, man. Cool.
I'm pretty sure Luke can agree with me that at least in the AUTZ, we're seeing some fucking amazing numbers. Like we're topping out at the moment. Like this is fucking fantastic. And you're sitting here saying that we're not getting these numbers when a TZ that is usually famous for being having the
I
lowest
watched
numbers
you this morning.
are now
Kyle.
pulling.
You know that I watched you this morning. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. That's why I left the shower window open. I hope you got a good view.
Well, no, you were in a rock wall trying to drop an Asbel. How did that go?
Fantastically. It was a great insurance
It was a
ripoff.
great kill, mate.
Anyway, if you let me finish, please. That I'm pretty sure that we can agree that the time zone that usually has record low numbers is actually topping, if not equaling, some of the time zones that usually do have really high numbers. Like this is showing
Yeah,
that
thanks
we're pulling the
Fraternity
numbers.
for coming down to help you out because I see them coming down. And then they go off and shoot AOM afterwards.
Yeah, it's almost like this blue donut isn't going to last
no,
long.
it's because Panda Fam don't give a shit about legacy anymore.
Yes.
time
That's
is
the
ticking.
reality that you don't want to accept, really. You've already killing legacy. Yeah.
Talking about how
And
the
Panda
four
Fam are happy
numbers
to
are
watch,
topping.
and so are we.
PanFam must betray legacy. They
No,
must.
they don't need to. All they need to do is go, yeah, we've got your back. You keep going, guys. And we're quite happy to watch that happen as well, let me tell you.
Here's a pat on the ass. Go ahead.
Oh my. Like
That's what they did.
No,
That's what
you
they
first.
did when you jumped into M2.
You jumped in
like
first.
Moomin, the funny thing about that one is like you guys have been trying that narrative for literally 8
Look,
months.
We don't care. We're already still.
I know you don't care. You're just gonna keep trying, right?
No,
Because we're just gonna keep trying to
we're
pass spells
somewhere.
and working on 1DQ,
We
right?
are still somewhere where we shouldn't be. We should have been out of 1DQ back in October. But we're still here.
Kel,
so
I just want to point out in
you
chat.
have-
Shut up, Jeremy. I just want to point out in chat. Clavis said that Ott's time zone today from you looked more like a bottom than a top. How do you respond to that?
What's wrong with being a bottom, Bill?
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
you're
kind of
putting
how
on
we
my
started,
words.
guys. Like,
Some
it's
people are
Pride
power
Month.
bottoms, all right?
Sometimes you can be on bottom, you can be on top. You just switch it up every now and then.
Ryan, I told you keep these to the DMs, please, not on.
Well, maybe if you'd actually stop ghosting me, Bill.
Oh Jesus!
It's always Bill. He does that to me as well.
God damn, dude, it's so frustrating, right?
Anyways,
God,
so
please.
where are
My
we on
mom's
this
watching.
topic? So we've been
Hi,
jumping
Mom.
around from
So
like
Moomin
topic
thinks
to
the only
topic.
win condition in this war is 1DQ.
Oh my God, shut the
Oh
fuck
my
up,
God.
Marius.
You keep telling people to shut the
Just
fuck
shut
up,
the
but you're
fuck up.
easily the most insufferable member this show has ever had.
Said no one ever.
I
How
don't agree.
dare you? Big
Dad.
Bill
Didn't
the
you
Bard
rage
is a
quit
very
this server,
sexy
Bill,
man.
because you didn't have the mod thing?
Because you
go
didn't
the way
have
you
the
wanted?
perms to ban me permanently, right? That was the reason you put yourself in quarantine or whatever, or you were gonna boycott the server. Was that because you couldn't abuse your mod powers?
Yeah, actually, it was because I could not ban you.
To be fair,
Yeah,
you
is there
were-
anything?
you
Is there
were
a follow up
being
to that?
Pretty
Because
silly, but
I'm just saying you're
it
like
doesn't really matter. That's
you're a scourge.
you're really mean to me, Bill.
kind
You're
of-
such a mean guy.
It's kind of not important, I guess, is the thing. It's not really a thing. Like we could be like Reddit mods and just not discuss our moderation policy, and if you want to, we'll just ban you. Like it's cool.
Yeah,
Anyways, so
hot take alert.
Oh yeah, shit. I should probably take that off the screen. Anyways, Moomin, I just want to know, like, point blank, no bullshit. Pick one topic, and let's talk about that, and not jump, because I know you have so much to say, because you say it all the time in T5Z. At least you did before the mobile observatories came and took your fun away. But right now, I figured getting you on the show would be different than it is in T5Z, because what happens in local is that you will make a point, and then maybe a dozen people will counter your point, and then you just completely ignore them and move on to something else that's unrelated.
That sounds like what we've
not
seen
right
tonight,
as
to be
well, I know
honest.
it.
So
It's like,
in-
because you know, Redline, I work very hard to answer everyone's points in local as best as I can.
Well, that's fair. But the thing is, though, is that right now we're trying to answer yours, and
Okay.
we
So
don't want to answer
on
like 100 of
GQ,
them all at
First
once.
Palace, is that an objective or not?
Is it a
Yes,
structure that
100%.
belongs to the Imperium?
No.
So now
must
I've
go
already
to-
got conflicting answers here
So,
because it's
Moomin.
like,
So,
yeah,
Moomin,
so
Is that
does that
the
structure
only win
belong
condition?
to the Imperium? Yes or no?
Sorry, I missed that last bit there. Go again.
Does that structure belong to the Imperium? Yes or no?
Yeah, first Palace, Imperium. So
Then
you
it
got
is an
that. I will
objective
quite
of the
happily
war.
write a story saying that you've won everything. I was quite happy to write a story actually back in November to say, well, yeah, you've got your economic victory, and then you threw it away. I don't quite understand why you did that either, but there we go.
Economic victory. I'm curious.
Well,
Okay.
economic
So
victory
we're
was one of the
shifting
goals that
again.
was set out by Pandemic Horde in one of their town halls, and it was one that you had met amply.
And we
Obviously,
still
with the
still
space,
have,
taking
frankly.
space like flags in the map, yes, you've also accomplished that one. And this is why the extermination stuff was always such a mistake, because I wouldn't have said right from the first time I got back, you shouldn't have said that, because we're going to use that as our, like, not necessarily a win condition, but not our losing condition either, which is
I
as long
mean,
as we're not exterminated,
that is your win
we haven't
condition.
lost.
That is currently your only win condition, is that if
Yeah,
you survive,
it's
you
like as long as
consider
we're not
yourself as
exterminated,
winners.
that's it. Really is
So
as simple as that.
you would assume, like, if we're gonna talk about win conditions, is that still the only win condition you guys have? Have
Yeah,
you,
because we're
like,
really stupid and it was a really low bar that you should
Okay.
never have set.
Cool.
Because
So
we reckon we can get over that.
I will tell you what,
So-
Moomin. If you guys want to not get exterminated and lose everything, and you say you won, I'm okay with that. Like,
yeah, because obviously that seems like a
Hey,
pretty
1DQ
bad
First
idea.
Palace awaits. Come on in, Billy, because
we're
everyone,
coming bit by bit, day by
everyone
day.
is. No, you're not. You're not. 7 weeks. How much progress have you made on your siege? Cracking the nut. We
That's
just
what
need
you
to
said
win
about
one
getting out of
challenge.
M2. That's what you said about getting out of M2, and how'd that work for you?
Yeah,
7
remember
weeks.
M2, where 3 days before they're never getting out. 2 days later, we're
No,
letting them go.
it's like
All
2
right, they're
days
getting
before. It was a case of like I was pleading with Mittens to let them out because I couldn't stand the screams of all of those pilots that had been abandoned by their
Jesus
leaders
Christ.
for 2 months. 2 months.
Well, I guess it was you that got everybody out of M2 then. I
Yeah,
thank you so
you're
much
welcome.
for it.
You're welcome.
It went from keep holding on to it to didn't want that.
Well, no, it's like
advantage
after 2
anyway.
months, that pigeon was very,
Like,
very
here's
smelly,
the
let me
reality, my
tell
man.
you.
Like, absolutely 1DQ is going to be a tough nut to crack. We are not unrealistic about the difficulty that we face. That is how we work. We tell the truth, right? And we said from
Well,
the
no,
start.
you haven't told the truth. You've already said that you started this whole war on a lie, so you don't tell
Well,
the truth.
technically, you
I
said
have
that-
not
When
said
did
I
you
started this
start
war
it?
on a lie.
So
And
wait
you
a
have yet to
second.
prove
Wait,
that
hold
I
up.
did, in fact,
Well,
start this
you
war on a
asked
lie.
us, and we said no. And then
Correct.
You kind of
I have
then
never
said
denied
Panda
that, my man.
Why
Yeah.
isn't Dawn on the show? Where's Dawn?
We don't.
She's
We're not
been-
gonna
I have
this
yet
time,
to
we're
see
not
a
gonna talk
lie.
about that. That's okay. So Moomin, here's the thing though, is that you've said several times now that Villy was lying about something, but you're not saying what Villy was lying about. You got there, you almost got
the
there
premise
when
for
you
the
said,
war
"Hold on,
is
yeah,
like
let
that-
me
if you
continue.
look
Let
at
me
the stuff-
let me continue. I know in local you just talk
Okay.
and talk and talk, but let me just finish my point, and then you can talk about yours. It's cool. So you say that there's this lie, and that the lie is that the war was started because goons had such a big number, and then you bring that in and you say that is the truth because he asked goons first if they wanted to go to war. But what you're doing is you're equating two different wars to having the same reason for starting, when in reality the reason to go to war against goons is that they were very strong and needed to be brought down a peg.
No,
Now,
and
I
that's
would,
not actually true.
It is true.
And that's kind of my point. Well, no, you keep saying that because, okay,
Okay,
just
whoa,
run with
stop,
this for
stop,
a second.
stop.
If
Moomin,
we'd
what are you
said
saying is not true?
yes-
What are you
if
saying
we'd
is not
said-
true?
If we'd said yes to you, okay, where would we have gone? We would have gone over to the drone lands, and what would we have done?
Imperial
have
Legacy
taken
versus
drones.
Panda Fam.
Right,
But
Like,
okay,
that's not
and
here's
that
you would
the
have
hard.
thing, though,
installed
Moomin.
Legacy, and
Here's
then
the thing, though,
Imperium would have
Moomin,
gone
is that
home.
even
Okay, and
if you
how
did
would
go
that
to
have
war in
addressed the
drones,
Imperium too strong?
it wouldn't have. That's the point.
Yeah, so
You would
and my
still
point is,
be
it's like
too
this
strong
war
and need to be
is
brought down a peg.
meaningless from that narrative perspective. Yeah, it's like the
It's not,
extermination.
though.
Well, I didn't mean extermination in that way. Well, it's like toxic league. Well, I didn't mean toxic leadership in that way. Yeah,
Well, you keep saying
what
in
do
that
you
way.
mean?
Like any normal person takes it as in a video game. The only people that take it in the, out of context, I want to like exterminate them like people in real life, is you guys because you want to take it that way.
Excuse me? Are you sure about that? Because it's like I spend time
I'm
in
pretty
T5
sure I
local,
know the context of
and
what I
you
say
should
things in.
know very well some of the things that get said to me, Vinny.
That's true.
I
you
don't,
do.
and I really don't want to.
Yeah,
Like
well,
when you're a
yeah,
shitposter
you
like that,
probably
you
don't
get
as well.
everything you literally bring on yourself in many cases.
Is anyone
Really?
who's pushing
I
this
don't-
strange
Really, Vinny?
goon narrative actually
sure
seriously
about that?
believing it?
They're
Alright.
saying it in game.
So
It's like-
anyways,
yeah, well,
let's
they
go
say
back to
stuff
this
out
moment
of
real,
game as
real
well,
quick.
don't
Moment.
they,
Let's
If
go.
people
let's
say
go
stuff
back.
to you that is out of game based, that is absolutely inappropriate, give me their fucking names in a DM and I will deal with it.
No, you won't
guy
deal with
named
it because it's like I've kind of been down this route before, and people don't deal with it. And I'm not too
Whoa,
fussed because as far as I'm concerned, I'm
I
just
just
happy
said,
to
give me their
point out
fucking
the
names and I will deal with
hypocrisy.
it. And I have no convos from you, so obviously that is not something that has ever happened before.
You blocked me, Vinny.
I'm DMing you right now. His name is spelled Redrin. He said very mean things to me.
Red
I
Ryan.
will let you address it.
Jesus.
That was actually
I
pretty
had a
good.
whole Reddit post on this, and I got to admit, this is like I was really stoked on how the Imperium came up and tried to work against all this toxicity. So look, the thing that a lot of us agreed on is that there is a small percentage number on both sides who are toxic fucks, and it is our responsibility and duty to try to stop, to weed them out, and we're
Have you
working on it,
seen
both sides.
Test on Reddit though? I mean,
Either way,
Have you
that's
seen
not the
goons
point.
on Reddit?
That's not the point.
Okay,
So
wait. First
we
of all,
are
I'd like to just point
literally-
out
No,
I'm not a
stop.
pro goon fucking person.
Shut up
here.
for 2 fucking seconds, okay?
I'm literally
trying,
just started talking.
I get it. I know. But I'm trying to get Moomin to stay on one fucking topic for more than 30 seconds.
Yeah,
You guys are not helping by shifting his focus. He's like a deer. He's like a deer, okay? You can't
Redline,
distract
have
the
you-
deer here. Look away.
You're the one who brought Moomin on. This is.
I know. I understand, and I'm trying.
I would like to hear Loki's point, though.
Your show, Redline. Stop
God
being
damn
like
it.
so wet, for God's sakes.
What?
Moomin is like an elderly Marius.
So, Loki, what were you saying, Loki?
I'm gonna take offense to that.
I don't even know anymore, dude. It's whatever.
Well, Kel, I'm bro fisting you through the internet, Kel, because stomping on them haters.
I don't think you're
Don't
allowed to
take it
say
too
that
far.
on Twitch, dude. Just gonna say.
Why would you fist him?
Why do you
I
always
think
have to take it
fist
there?
bump. He meant fist bump, obviously.
I said fist bump. Did I cut out?
No,
You
you
said-
said that you're
was I really
fisting him
trying
through
to
the
say-
internet, dude.
He said bro fisting, which is a
Bro
pretty bad
fisting, thank you. Which honestly should be on Reddit. Please, test. Get that done.
I mean, I guess I like a little bit more than what I thought. You know.
Dude, just take off your wedding ring before you do it, all right, dude?
Wow,
And the
that adds a little bit of.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I
No,
know, but you don't. You have to explain it to your
don't
wife
wanna
if it
lose
gets
it.
stuck up there, though. So I mean,
I think we should call it here, buddy.
No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do
What
that
was the
at all.
topic you wanted to talk about, Redline?
I don't know. I just want to talk about one topic. But the thing we were talking about was the lie that the war was started on, which we haven't gotten to the bottom of. And I don't think we ever will.
Okay, so the thing is, it's like you keep saying is like, from my perspective, okay, we were asked first, we said no, you then go and ask someone else, and then all of the justification that is used for this war, such as too big, too toxic, or whatever, is kind of meaningless because you asked us to the date first. Yeah?
Not really,
So,
because asking you
those
to
things
the
are still
date,
true.
asking
It doesn't
you,
like
you can see
so
it any way you
if
but
you
from my perspective,
if
it
you
is
are a
case of
solid
we were asked
6,
first,
right?
we said no,
Hold up.
we are now the problem. And so it's like saying, oh, well, I didn't like that person anyway, and I didn't really want to go on a date with them.
That's
Are
not
you
what
being
that's
honest
saying at
with
all.
yourself?
What that's saying is, hey, look, we could have we could take 2 people on this date. We like this person less than we like this other person, so ask them first. And then if the first person says no, then oh well, I guess we still want to go on the date, so we'll ask this person. And that person
Well,
says yes.
to be honest, Redline,
that
it's actually much more
change-
like, well, this person's already kind of my girlfriend. We already kind of go out. I don't really want to betray her. I don't want to, like, give her the wrong impression. She's kind of a crazy girl. So if I, go with somebody else, she's probably going to lose her fucking mind. I should probably ask her first. And then she says no, and you're like, okay, good to go. Right? Like, hence why, especially the first couple of months in the war, like, there was so much narrative around the crazy X because that was exactly how we knew you were going to react.
I like that. I like that a lot better than mine. Good one.
I hate being in the talking stage with goons. I would have ghosted goons from the beginning.
Well, that's fair.
Marius, no one gives a fuck about whether you would have
guys
ghosted
get
anybody.
dates?
It would have been a fucking blessing had you ghosted somebody. I guarantee you, if someone was like, "Oh, Marius ghosted me," and other news, I took a shit today. Like, that's the extent of the conversation that would happen.
Just for Marius to have
So,
somebody to ghost would be a blessing for Marius.
So wanting to get back on track with stuff. So right at the beginning of the war, you actually had a plan, didn't you? That you published to Reddit, Billy?
My 6-stage plan?
Although the one I saw only had 5 stages at the time.
I think it was always 6, but at one point I hadn't put like the 6th stage in or whatever on public.
So how's that going then? How many stages does this plan have now?
It's the same 6 stages.
Are
Like,
you sure?
did you read them? Can you?
Yeah, because I'm really excited about phase 4.
Okay, so what are they? Why don't you read them for the audience?
I'm only really interested in phase 4 at the moment, which is the big battle, when that is going to happen.
That's not what I wrote. It was the big battles, correct?
All right, so here it goes. It's shock and denial, pain and guilt, anger and bargain. Oh, number 4 is depression. That's where we are on the stages.
Phase 4 was, to quote, the big battles, and I am pretty
Okay, so
confident
when
we are
are they
still in that
happening?
stage.
Because they haven't happened in the last 2 months now? 4 months?
Do you not think the battles we have daily are not big?
No.
What about the one that was half a trillion ISK and we were up like 200 billion?
I'm sure none. Apparently, the only battles that matter in EVE Online to Mr. Moomin here is the Super and Titan battles. I assume,
Well,
right?
they're the only ones that will count in this war.
If only Super and Titan battles matter, you should break tether.
The only
Did the
time you
YZ9
can make
keep
progress.
Right, 5 Supers and Titans.
Well, you're complaining
because if
about-
the YZ9 keep Starfight didn't matter because they didn't have Supers and Titans in it. Then that's a very
Well, Jeremy, we lost 400 something dreads. Y'all lost 400 something dreads on the bubbles and them. Like, it's the same. Like that then negates each other, Jeremy. That doesn't work. Also about the whole tether. Like, if we're gonna stay tethered, how about you and Doc? Like, at least we're outside. We're getting fresh air outside the Keep Star, right?
We undock all the time. We go around, we blow up structures, we do all kinds of things to keep our guys doing stuff.
Your war's not going very well, though, is it really? Let's be honest about it.
How, in what possible way would you describe it as not going well?
Time.
Aside from the obvious battle in M2,
Time.
where we got absolutely fucking turkey shot.
Still time.
In what,
We
sorry?
still have another 12 months to
Time.
go.
Well, the thing is, the longer the war goes on, the harder you're going to find to actually kind of put troops on the kind of like the field.
So it's funny
time is
because you
really
say that,
important.
because that's what Asher was saying in month 2 of the war. And
Uh-huh.
during the show afterward we did on Trash Talk Tuesday, I explicitly said time is in our favor because we are building this war with a sustainability factor in it. And surprise, surprise, we are now in month 11 of this war, and the people that are exhausted are not happy. We are now ready to go for another year if we need to. We
Yeah.
are ready
Okay.
to go
So
for.
you're going to go for another year, yeah?
It's
entirely possible.
Come
We're
on, no.
certainly
be
more
honest. You
capable
wanna
of
be
going for
honest now,
another year
Billy.
than
Be
goons
honest
are.
to your troops. Yeah, it's like stop lying to them. Yeah, and now be honest. Another year for this war, you reckon? Because you've done 2
Do another
months
2
of this
years.
with
Why don't you check?
zero progress, and it would seem that you're actually quite happy to have this particular situation because it allows Pappy to exert whatever force they want around the rest of Null.
Say that one again, sorry?
Well, you're quite happy to have this situation as it is because it means that you get to exert whatever force you want around the rest of Null, such as like with places like Volta or IGC.
He's saying that you're using this position as like we're not ending the war now, so we can continue to be the big blue donut and do bad things to people.
We would all love for this war to end tomorrow. Like the reality is obviously
Amen,
it's nobody here is like, we really want to extend this war anymore. It's been 11 fucking months. Even when you're winning the war, it's
No,
not
but
as
it's
like fun as
trust
it is.
me,
Like
Billy, if
everybody's
you wanted-
tired.
if you wanted
I'm
to end the
having more
war-
fun now than I was having 6 months ago, easily. Because
if-
it's getting funnier and funnier watching the legacy smash itself to death on a war that it should never have started in the way that it has, or even conducted in the way that it has. I mean, it's just like amusing kind of thing after amusing thing.
What would you be doing at the point in Moon that you think it would be a serious and unfunny attempt that we are not doing? I'm curious as to what the great
Well,
strategic
it's like I actually wrote an article about it because it's like
Why don't
it's
you
way too
paraphrase
late
it for
to
us?
think about it. Well, it was a case of not to go for a headshot, but you needed to exert like pressure at the heart of Delve really early on, and actually leave all the things in queries period basis just like alone initially, and apply the pressure to the heart of Delve.
Do you have any understanding of basically how impossible that would be the same difficulty level as just a straight up headshot
No,
attempt? And how
it's like you
That
got
vaguely resembled English language.
look at the size that you have, the numbers that you can bring to bear. It could have been done. You had the momentum, you had the initiative. You know,
No, you
do
had
know
the
what wins
initiative.
fights in real life? Speed, intensity, and violence.
It's funny that
new sub mechanics though, like don't really.
Yeah, like I hate to break this to you, my boy, but the headshot of 1DQ in this like play where
No,
we
that's
go into
why I said it
1DQ
wasn't a
was never
headshot.
an option.
It
If it
a
was, we
headshot.
absolutely would
I
have
didn't
taken it,
say
but
was a
it wasn't.
I
Say
didn't
what?
say it was a headshot. I said to apply
That's
pressure
even
to
worse.
the core of Delve.
Yeah, they should have gone for the headshot. If they wanted to end the war, they would have gone for a 1DQ headshot. and
So,
not
like,
suicide
what are you
for-
even describing then? Go to the heart of Delve. Like, you want us to put a keepstar in NPC Delve? Like, what does that mean?
So it means that you could have brought significant numbers to bear in Delve immediately, rather than compress all of the stuff
And
you have.
Okay,
down
well, stop.
into
So,
one
what does immediately mean? Like, at what point are we talking here? Like, before we have a keepstar in
literally
YZ9? Like,
first day out of the war, you could have like applied pressure.
are you okay, bud? I'm sorry. Like, that would.
Well, it's like hypothetical, but the thing is, it's like you are a year down, okay, in a war that you had massive numerical advantages. You have advantages in many other respects as well, such as like your FC team or your superior strategic knowledge or what have you. You have every advantage. You're a year down the line. You have no results when it comes down to the final part of the constellation that we're in. That's
So
it.
you
How
have-
are you going to resolve it?
Whoa, hold on. You said you have no results except being in the final part of the war. So we have no except
that we
being in
could
the
have been
final
at,
part.
we could have been at in like the 40, realistically.
Do you know
When
how
you
long
first
it takes to
got-
grind structures? Or, like, do you not know how structure mechanics
Yeah,
work?
I know how it kind of works, and it's a case of like when you first got into Delve and you were in NPC space, you were going, "Look at us, we're taking a constellation every 2 days. Check this out." Yeah. So what happened to that? And then it was a case of like we can shoot like uncontested structures. Well, anyone can shoot uncontested structures. I've done it a lot. So
We'll fight on every keep star. There will be blood.
Do you realize that if
it's
you
a
guys
case
would have
of, like,
actually put
we
any
will
work
fight-
into actually
we
defending
will
those structures, how hard it would have been?
Fight against any of the structures that we have that we feel that we can reasonably do something against.
Yeah, but
like
that's
against.
not every
Well, it's
structure.
still fundamentally a case of
Have you
we
been
use
taking
some
lessons from
mechanisms
Jeremy
behind
in
burning
class?
1DQ. You still need to burn 1DQ. You are not one bit closer to that objective than you were a year ago.
Yeah, we are.
Realistically.
Or,
No,
like,
you've got no
I
okay.
would say we're
Whoa, stop.
significantly
shining
So I
blockage
want you to say that again. We are no
superiority
closer to taking 1DQ than we were a year ago when we had killed none of your structures. That is your stance right now.
Yeah, it's a case of like you haven't resolved the 1DQ problem at all.
So we have encircled
No, all you've
1DQ,
done is,
we
like,
have stage
nibbled up
next to
the edge.
1DQ,
Just
and
nibbled
we
up
are
the
no
edge. You might
closer
as well
than
done a
when we
gate
lived
camp.
in literally
You might
fucking
as well done a
Esoteria.
gate camp over in one SMEB and like drop dreads occasionally for NPC Delve.
Huh?
How about this? So can I just say something? There is objective truth to what's going on now. I'm neither really in this like in any capacity, so I'm relatively objective. I really just want this to fucking be over if we're being honest. But if we're gonna have to go through this shit, you lost like a fuckload of keep stars. Okay, so I'm just gonna say Pappy won the fucking war. If they want to stay and encircle you for fucking ever, then I guess great. I'm just never gonna get any fucking content outside of like shooting some oracles once in a while.
Loki.
But that being said, I mean, yeah, you guys are playing a good game. You have like I don't know how many thousand, like tens of thousands of people, like well, people, like what, 10,000 people at least in this whole thing, like in one constellation. Kind
Oh,
of
it's right. We're kind of set up ready to kind of go where you want to go. But the thing is, let's be honest, you don't want to go because you're not prepared to pay the price. That's what it boils down to.
Right,
No,
you
you're
get
not.
a
You're
really,
not
really,
ready
really
to
big
go.
fight, and then whoever wins that fight basically wins, right?
You're
You get
not.
another BTEC-R.
You're not
Oh,
ready
it's
to
basically
go.
until you run out of material, isn't it? It's like the will to actually kind of like keep going. And
Here's
it's
the
like we're fighting for
problem.
our home, so
Well, here's
we're kind of in this all in.
here's the problem though. Like, so the problem is like with the servers at this point, sort of like we've built to the
So
point.
we're
We've
onto the servers again now.
no. Just let me fucking finish a point.
Go for it, Loki.
We've built to the point where you have just massive amounts of people on either side. Okay, and yeah, this is very Serenity server-esque, and I don't like any of this. I think you guys are all stupid. Okay, I just like to point that out. Again, I'm not in this. Okay,
No, you.
but you're at a point where like I don't know if the resolution of the war can actually happen with like server performance, and that's saying something because server performance has gone up like like exponentially in the last like 10 fucking years. You know what I mean? So we're kind of at like this standstill where the goons are kind of like daring Pappy to like jump in again and see how that fucking goes. And like as much as I hate to say it, I kind of feel like I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know what kind of resolution you're going to get from that. I
It's
mean,
kind of an in-game
maybe
paradox.
the goons break, or maybe Pappy encircle you long enough that all of your fucking money runs out. But I know you
No,
guys
but
had a lot of
the
money,
thing
right?
when you say
So
that,
it's kind of
Loki,
like this
with
like
the
tit for
money
tat
running out,
thing that's just like, just fucking, I don't know, just fucking end it so we
Loki,
can
with
go
the
back to
money
playing
running
games.
out, is like that's not going to happen because we're not really spending any anymore, are we? And there are better ways to make
It's like
ISK
subcaps at
in
this point, yeah.
Eve than by doing it in nullsec.
You are
Line
spending
member
money on
money doesn't
subcaps
matter.
and fighters.
It's the alliance money that'll pay for your dread caches and SRP that matters.
Hey, do
Interesting
you
question,
guys?
Movement. Do you understand? Like, how do I put this? Do you think you are getting richer every day in Windy Q or poorer?
I'm getting richer. I literally log
As an
in,
alliance,
and
sorry,
it
not you
turns
personally.
out I'm getting richer.
Do you think?
Because you get paid to shitpost.
As an alliance, do you think the Imperium is getting richer every day in Windy Q or poorer?
Imperium as a whole, like our reserves, probably like poorer, but it's like not significantly much. I don't think.
Okay, so and do you think that over time that toll might in fact actually have effects on you?
No, not. It's like with a long, long way to go yet. I mean, you yourself, you've got what is it, 1 trillion in just ship skins sitting around? So you know people have personal wealth.
Yes,
You gonna quit
absolutely.
the
But
game before we
personal
run
wealth
out
is
of
very
hits?
different from alliance wealth, right? And the way that those are accessed.
I'm going to be
Well,
filing
not
for
to
an
me. It's a case of,
AARP card by the time this war is over with.
For me, it's a case of I'm all in, Billy. So if I can every single piece of material that I have at this war to keep 1DQ and us existing in some sort of sense, I'm going to do it.
I think your AARP card is going to get rejected because you're very
Yeah,
obviously already.
I don't doubt that, right?
But
there's a lot of people here
Are you
where
willing to put your 1 trillion ship skins?
I've
on the
already
line?
been doing so, my man.
Good.
I'm all in, obviously.
I look
Like,
forward to the screenshots of it.
a screenshot
Bill,
of what?
We'll see you at the
Well,
retirement
you
home
tend to
soon,
post
right?
stuff that
I'll
you
be yelling you from
kinda
down
like.
the hall.
Billy, you know what Confucius said?
About the flying and testicle?
Do you?
Yeah, I'm asking Billy if you knew what Confucius said.
Man with hand in
Said
pot to
a
play
lot
with
of
cock all day.
That's what I was going to say. You said a lot of things, so.
I think
Never
Billy only knows.
Billy's not interested in it, so never mind. No one's ever going to find out.
So did you guys hear about the big fight that happened on Saturday?
Wriggle Pharmaceuticals, what?
Is that the
So
one
anyway,
in Lowtech?
yeah, so Gang to 500 occurred, which is the NPSI sort of kind of community run thing. I think it started out, I don't even remember how it started out. I always assumed it was with Red versus Blue or Spectre Fleet. But anyway, it's carried on by Spectre Fleet. So they got a bunch of NPSI groups together with FCs, and everyone just kind of came together. We went from Jita to Tama, where Snuff dropped on us, and we just started brawling outrageous, and it was a shit ton of fun.
Cool.
Imperium was there, and they shot at Pappy, and Pappy shot at Imperium, but mostly everyone shot at Snuff.
Nice.
Well, tell us more. Do you have a battle report you can link or something?
I do, but I have no idea how accurate it is because like both sides just have like 200 people, and it's just mass chaos.
Can you narrate the step-by-step process of how this battle unfolded?
So I was in the Spectre Ganked 500 fleet, so they had Augur Navy issues, so just like cheap T1 cruisers or I guess faction cruisers. And we all jump into Tama and like local spikes just from us jumping, so you can or not local tie-dye, but you can already tell like server was not going to be happy. So we're there and we see I think there was like a legacy fleet, like a couple legacy fleets, a couple Pappy fleets, and then the Goon fleet, and then or I guess it was in it, or maybe it was both. And then we're just kind of like everyone's yeah. So anyway, it's in PSI, so it's literally kind of every fleet for themselves. So everyone's just kind of pinging around the grid around the Novikaiken gate, and suddenly like we see a Sino and like Snuff starts dropping faxes, and like the FC was like, "Okay, guys, let's just shoot the faxes because worst comes to worst, like everyone's gonna shoot faxes over shooting each other." So that's what we were doing, and it was a shit ton of fun. And like, I forget who, I think it was Test and like Praxises and Gnosises, and they were ECM bursting, and I was getting really fucking salty because I was Logi. So we're trying to shoot these faxes as like Test is doing their shit, and all these fleets are just kind of like mingled together. But as the faxes were dying, I whored on a bunch of Test kill mails because I knew I wouldn't get yelled at. Oh, and I was repping people and whoring on them as well. So I got on like 30 kills. It was a Logi and Max tie-dye and low sec. Yeah, and so like as this was happening, so like there was a bunch of us balled up and brawling it out with the faxes. And then like you could just see all these fleets, like I know PL had a fleet kind of like orbiting, and like there were a couple other groups like with their fleets just orbiting and everyone hanging out. It was chaos for like 2.5 hours. And then the faxes died, and they kept dropping more faxes and dreads, like Haw dreads. So finally, we're like, fuck Snuff, and CCP Alpha brought a Leviathan in, and we're like, this can never go wrong, dropping a Titan on Snuff. So anyway, Snuff brought a bunch of Titans, and then that kind of ended everything, because there's no way you can fight a Titan fleet. So it's kind of like the TLDR. I think everyone who was there probably got out ISK positive, regardless of living or dying. It was a shit ton of fun. So shout out to the NPSI groups. You should definitely support them. They're tons of fun if you ever want to learn Eve. Grey Gal and Redemption Roam are there. Redemption Roam is the #1 retention tool, or not #1 retention tool, #1 in-game group that retains new players. CCP gave her a shout out Vegas 2019.
Is it mathematically possible for every fleet to go out ISK positive?
Yeah, because I don't count CCP in that, and I think everyone hoard on the Titan.
Oh, okay.
But pretty much if you got on multiple, not every fleet, but every individual. So pretty much if you got on a couple kills, you were set. Like unless you were flying something super expensive. But like props to Snuff, because I know Snuff usually likes to escalate on these events, but they gave us something like us being people not in Snuff, something reasonable to fight with, and it was a ton of fun. Like we were killing faxes and dreads, and then you could see the pilots coming in again. So they were just obviously having a ton of fun blapping people.
I expect this PowerPoint presentation on my desk sometime this week.
Stop ghosting me in DMs, dude.
Yeah, one of our guys got like 400 kills or something because of that fight.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was in a Logis. It was a ton of fun. It was also really fun because there were some assholes smart bombing. So whenever they would smart bomb, I just remembered their names and I poured on a kill mail and told the Logi wing not to rep them.
Logi, the only people who can kill you by locking you up and not pressing a single fucking module.
Yeah. That's the only time as Logi I tell people not to rep is like NPSI groups who are shitty. Or not like people in NPSI groups who are shitty.
Can I just say congrats to Loki on 10k kills though?
On 10 what?
No, that's
Yeah.
not allowed.
Wait, who's
Oh,
saying this?
you just break the big 10K?
Did you just look at my kill board and see that I have 10k kills? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Absolute
Or,
Chad, dude.
or did one of the people in my corp? Oh, it's Ran. Okay, well that makes
Yeah.
more sense. I was like, or did one of the people in my corp like fucking like razz me about it in Twitch and I wasn't looking?
Oh, no, bro. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, 10k kills was great, I guess. But I haven't really been focused on kills the last like 4 or 5 years. Honestly, it's been more about making fleets work and FCing fleets and not necessarily caring about your kill board. I don't know if kill board stats are extremely skewable, we'll say. So I
What's
don't
your solo
necessarily.
percentage at?
I have like 300 and something solo kills. I don't know.
So
Did
less
anybody
than
talk about the
1%?
battleship event?
I'm an FC though. Like that's always been my main
Oh.
like stage. Like that's what I want to do. Or and even if I'm in a small gang, I'll be in a small gang and I'll try to FC that. But I'm not usually I'm not the solo guy.
Is the battleship proving grounds still going on?
No, it was one day. That's why I was saying, did anybody do it? Because I literally had to work like quite literally the hour it started till the hour it ended. So I was like,
I played it. Me and Grath tried out some. I think I don't know if I think he just fed a bunch, and I fed a bunch as well because it was like the fucking passive. Well, no, it's not passive. The shield boosting rock and there were some practices. I think some people figured out. I think Avery got some kind of like god tier mode set up that was working.
Wait, as in you would like shield boost your own drones?
That was Lucy Lou, but yeah.
No, ancillary shield rep.
Gotcha.
It's a module that you put on your ship, Marius.
Sorry. It's been so long since I've logged in.
I tried the Maelstrom, and I got the person down to half armor, and he got in blaster range of me, and then it was over.
yeah, blasters are pretty strong in battleship 1v1s.
It was fun though. I liked the event. It's just a shame that battleships are like fucking 800 million esque.
Yeah, apparently what was the reward, like 100 mil or something for doing it, or?
Was that it?
Yeah, I thought there was like 100 mil for going in or something you got.
Yeah, it was something pretty good like that. So like even if you lost, you probably didn't technically lose money.
So
well, no, that my point was that it's nowhere near enough. Like
you can cover your fit, and insurance gives you the rigs. Yep, that's battleships now though. That's why it was pretty ballsy for PGO to take out a battleship fleet in this era of the EVE Onlines, because those
Here we
motherfuckers
go
aren't
again.
fun. Well, I wasn't trying to talk shit. I was just saying, like, battleship fleets are fucking awesome unless they're like a fucking trillion S to field nowadays. It's just stupid. I wish they would do something about it.
yeah, I'm pretty sure we had half of those Abaddons left from somewhere else, and he wanted to try it. I mean,
Because I have loads of Dominexes from the UEXO days. Pour one out, press F, and
Those were the good days.
I'm just not feeling it to throw like. I'm not a Ezekiel warrior, but at the same time, I'm not a dumbass, right?
yeah, I can use those 50 Dominixes and throw them down the drain. They're not worth 600 mil a pop right now.
Bill, I know Muck Barovian takes Dominixes into 1DQ all the time, and it's actually a ton of fun. I've flown on those fleets.
I miss my
Muck
Navy APOX.
Muck has been a Chad since he like came out of the womb, so
Yeah, you should take some pointers from him. Like legitimately, I'm not trying to be condescending.
I used to fly up under him. I used to love his rail Brutixes. That was like the funnest fleet to me.
Nice.
But I mean, but you don't see Muck just like hanging out and like fucking cutting the shit with people for an extended period of times in them.
Just DM him or combo or email him in game. I think he logs in every day.
When you jump into 1DQ, like y'all don't hang around very long.
Oh no, because usually you guys have something to come and fight us, so we bail.
Yeah, it's just battleships used to be like they weren't throw like trashing, but they were fun. Like you didn't lose enough on them that they're entertaining to play with, right?
They were in stay in the fight type of ships, not like these flimsy cruisers.
It was like like, oh, I'll just go reship into another one, but now it's like, oh no, that was half of a plex. Or am I just the only
hack
one?
meta.
Oh Jesus.
Here's a question. What do y'all think is going to end first, the war or scarcity?
Yes.
What's the over under?
Scarcity.
The interest of
That's
people
great.
in EVE Online.
So Eve 2 when?
Never.
I think of this is all of us are playing at this point because of a time sunk cost fallacy at this point, I believe.
Wasn't that always the case?
I just don't have anything better to do.
Fuck, if I stop playing Eve, I've got nothing better to do.
I've tried to give other video games a try, but it's just Eve just keeps pulling me back.
Nothing that hits like it.
It's mainly
I'm smashing out the new Mass Effect Legends at the moment. And keep getting dragged out to do fleets and shit.
Yeah. So much fun. I've never played Mass Effect. I'm having a blast.
How good does okay? If you've never played the original one, like the characters just look amazing compared to the first one. Like Cade actually looks like a real human and not a potato.
He's really weird. I played a female shepherd, and he would just like nonstop hit on me out.
cool story, guys. We're talking about
Sorry.
Eve here.
He does the same
like
for a male
walking
character too.
Oh, Mass Effect is just walking in the stations, dude. You like fly a spaceship and land on a planet, and you like walk around and stuff.
I was probably the only person. I was probably the only person in Eve that was upset that they canceled walking in stations because I was really wanting to play sit down and play chess against somebody or some shit.
No, you most certainly were
Oh,
not.
fine.
Bill, you wanna do some chess? You wanna play some chess, Bill? Let's go.
I love
Thinking about
standing,
walking in
looking at my
stations, there
shit.
was a talking in stations controversy, wasn't there?
I'm not touching
know
that one.
what you're talking
Nope.
about.
Oh,
because
I forgot about
we-
that. We didn't even
because
talk about that.
We're not going to talk about that in this station. I
We aren't?
don't
Okay.
need. I don't need anybody to say anything on that topic.
Not touching that poop.
So
Billy,
Eve
do we
Down
wanna
Under
talk about-
2021 is still going ahead, set for the 19th of November. We're currently still trying to source venues. So if you're Australian or you got the money to come and fly down here, 19th of November, Eve Down Under, physical meet. Come get pissed.
Will it be?
Yeah, get mad.
What do you mean by physical
mad.
meat?
Wait,
When you
hold
say
up one
physical
second.
meat
Will
that
it be
aggressively, I
in-
don't understand.
Will it be in
Well,
AU
last
time
year-
zone?
Yeah.
I can't be awake for that. It's too early.
No, just come to Australia, man. Just go jump on a flight.
Billy, do we want to talk
Let's
about
come
what
to
happened
Australia.
with the corp that shall not be named?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one too.
Yeah,
Stuff
that was
happens in
fun.
this war like there's so much stuff that's always happening. It's crazy.
Well, we can talk about that if you want, but I'm not sure how it will reflect on you.
It will reflect awesome on us because every.
I love when you
So-
make these like vague statements that are like supposed to be like offensive at me, and it's like, ha ha ha, I've got him now, and it's like,
No,
okay,
it's
bro.
nothing like that at all. I would say that you're already fully got, really, like very got.
Oh yeah, he got us good.
No, no,
Destroyed
you
his
got
corp in a
yourself.
day.
No,
Got, like,
you're
got milk,
destroying
mate.
your alliance in a
feel like I
year.
have to change my underwear.
Got
Destroying
milk.
our alliance in a year, yes, because we've lost so many people.
Brave if
Yeah,
you assume I'm wearing any.
If you look at the alliances that you started out with, you seem to have a different number now.
Yeah, you
so
know,
do
you're
you.
not wrong,
You're
but
all right.
It's mostly the alliance, like Test Alliance itself. Is that what you're saying, or like the people
No,
surrounding
legacy
Test
as a
Alliance?
whole.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, we
but
definitely.
You, like,
Oh, hold
Dreadbomb
on.
like destroyed a bunch of like random dudes, and like I don't know. They had like
Do-
2,600 people, quote unquote, but like they couldn't form like
they
7
don't
guys
purge.
to do anything. So it's kind of like I feel
Well,
like
hold on.
there was a little bit of a fire that kind of like ate through the dead weight and legacy, and
Do we want to
what's
talk
left
about really
is whatever's left.
successful allied alliances like Siberian Squad and French Connection and
Yeah, sure, we can
Dracaria
do that if you want.
and
And the initiative.
Yeah, hold on. I gotta go take a Marius real quick. I'll be back.
He's
Can
so.
I just
he
say,
has such
Daddy,
a way
no!
with words.
in memoriam of
The fuck
the
was that?
Watchmen.
Hey,
Has the initiative managed to do anything successful on their own in this war, or do they just
They had
steal
the
Well, they
credit?
AH
won the
500 fleet.
Keystone the other day.
Yeah, didn't they just ref horde staging yesterday?
Yes, but you see,
Uh,
reffing something is not actually a victory. I know you guys still think this, but like, do you know how many times D-P was reinforced this war?
Do you know how many times
Will
he
they
said
ever
that he
follow
would
up on
save
it?
everyone in catch, Billy?
Say that one again. Sorry,
It comes
Moomin.
How you would save everyone in catch? that it
Did
wasn't a
I,
problem.
do you want to find me that quote too? Because that's another one I can.
I just remember it was a case of everyone when I was in GE TAC 8, they were saying, Villiers, come and save us.
Oh, I'm sure that's something that was said as well, my man.
Well,
Like,
it was. Some of the times it's like your fleets did
go get me
actually
the
turn
logs,
up.
my brother. Because once again, I'm gonna call you out because I know you
It's
don't
like,
got them.
logs, really, it's like you've said so much. Yeah, it's just ridiculous to actually like track. At one time, you were saying that goons were going to lose 30% of their membership as soon as there was a big battle in Delve. So did
No,
that
I said you were
happen?
going to lose 30% of your membership as soon as the constriction began. You've already lost 30% of your membership.
So we've lost 30% of our members.
It's what you people call fair weather friends. No, you didn't already. Yeah, you lost the original bulk. Like, we're both talking about the same thing here. You're talking about Legacy losing some people. Okay, they lost a little bit of bulk because those people are kind of useless.
No,
and
Loki, they're talking
probably
about that
super AFK.
specific number. I think that's what they're discussing.
30%, the percentage. 30%.
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
how to
like
do
the
math.
Imperium was going to lose 30% of its members.
And have you not lost 30% of your
No, not
membership?
even close, Loki. Not
If you look
even
at-
close.
So if you look at goons before you started the war, and then goons at this point, you haven't lost 30% of people.
No, not even slightly, Loki.
You convinced me, Billy's a
Does
liar.
does that include people who just went AFK and didn't leave goons, or who just don't show up anymore? Is that your active player
So
count, or is
what you're telling us, Moomin, is you can form exactly as many people as you could form at the start of the war, right?
Come to 1DQ First Palace, find out exactly what we can form, and
We
then
have
you're
come
going to
there, and we've
complain,
seen your big
and
form
then
ups,
you're
my
going
man.
to complain about, oh look, Goon's got too many characters in the system, and CCP have a server cap, which they don't, all the time, kind of forgetting that Pickles the other day was saying, bring down all your non-combat characters, we're going to train them up to be combat characters because we need them.
So same thing you guys said.
Yeah, like I'm confused what you think we're saying that's not correct.
30% hit numbers for the Imperium.
Yes, it happened. Like
No,
that happened
You,
like months
you
and months
say
and months
don't
ago.
quote me on this, but you love making up quotes.
Who, me or?
Moomin.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
Right, okay,
please
well, I'm just going off the
correct.
botline again, okay, and I'm going to do it from the start of the war, and we'll see where
Are you
we go.
going to look at Dotland numbers again?
Oh, right, so what? When you say numbers, what do you mean? Combat numbers now, then?
Yes, the only thing that matters is active people and active people that show up in fleet.
Okay, so the thing is, we've got no reason to, like, turn up most of the time because you're not doing anything.
Dude, at your high points now,
We're
you are
outforming
like
you,
40 to 50% down on what you were at during the start of the
outforming you,
war.
Billy. We're outforming you. So if our numbers are down 30%, what are your numbers down?
A bunch. Because we
bunch.
also have not applied relative pressure to make sure our fleets are
No,
maxed.
your whole war has been a joke. It's just been a bumbling joke from the start.
If our
Let's
war
be
is a
honest
joke,
about
then what? That joke laughed away all your structures, right? It laughed
yeah,
away all your
completely.
Sov. It laughed away all those members. It laughed away all your ISK. Laughed away all those Titans, right?
We built all of this with the expectation, in fact, the certainty that you would come down again, which you have.
I don't know if that's true because you were saying that it was a lie that that there wasn't ever going to be a Pappy. You were pretty clear that you thought that
Sound pretty shaky, bro. Just stop. Just stop.
Imperial Legacy
Just
was
stop.
going to be a long-lasting thing.
You also got to think, we're not using capitals, you guys are, and COVID restrictions, which means, of course, our numbers are going to look like we're down. Once the capital fights start, our numbers are going
Look,
to jump back up.
once the capital fights start, they're not starting. Yeah, you're 7 weeks into a siege. Okay.
Yes, and the siege doesn't mean over in one fucking day. Do you want to look up the fucking definition of a siege?
If you're going to attack T5Z, like our numbers increase like in 2 times, you understand it?
It's a case of like,
You
come
cannot,
and go as
it's like we cannot do shit, you cannot do shit, but you're living in 7 systems, do you understand? Like we have like, 10, 20 regions, and we are like writing, mining, and doing whatever we want. Like you're living in 7 systems, your proxy groups are dying. Like we literally killed all Fatabolis almost. Like around trillion ISK are dead. You cannot do
want
shit, we
even
cannot do shit.
why have we got like the Russian kind of like NC rental handler here.
Yes, but Mitani was talking about Russians, like stained
got
Russians.
nothing
They're
to
real
do with
Russians, but you don't
It's
know
like,
who's real Russians. Like,
what are you on about like Russians for? It's
Our
like,
Russians are better than your fucking Russians. How's Red Alliance doing, mate?
yes, all Russian groups are almost dead. Like,
yeah, and how did they die? Was it because they joined up with fire and they like followed?
they joined you.
No, because they joined with you.
Joined you. Siberian Squad joined Imperial. Red Alliance joined Imperial. Now they're all almost dead. They switched
What
to
side
US
did
time
the
zone.
Siberian
You
Squad
understand?
start?
Jet Bomb is babysitting them.
Where
Your Jet Bomb, they're all dead.
Don't bring Dread Bomb into this.
Well, to be fair, he's not
situation.
wrong, Loki. Without you guys covering Red Alliance, Impasse
You're the only reason that they are still alive.
I will concede that Dread Bomb are the savior of all Russians. Banana Republic is recruiting, but
The only reason
Come on
that
now.
fire is still alive is because NC allow it to run their rental stuff.
Do you think NC has anything to do with Fire's rentals?
Probably they still used to. Let's ask
Like, here's a
Faker.
guy who thought that Dran was the one who dealt with Pittsburgh. Like
Well,
every
let's
time
ask
you open
Faker.
your mouth in this conversation, you show you have no concept of how things work in the galaxy.
Remember Fafer?
Yes, I know
Do you know who
Fafer.
Fafer is, or do
He's
you
in
not know him?
Test High Command. I know him quite well.
Exactly. So what did he used to do?
He ran the drone rentals
For who?
for NC.
So what was your question about our rentals? Are we paying somebody like Legacy?
No, he
or-
thinks that NC is running all your rentals or something.
no, Pfaffer
No,
is
no,
renting
no.
is running it, and then by extension, Vince Draken is his overlord. I'm myself.
Except
Vince
Pfaffer
Draken
doesn't do
alt.
anything with rentals at all, in like anything in the east side of the map. He handles
was-
our small rental group.
I was created in the game once Vince Draken figured out how to do a Canadian accent. So get fucked, I guess. We're all Vince Draken alts, dude.
No, I'm a Mitani alt.
He's
I'm
Randolph
Swiss
alt.
Me too.
I'm Gobbins.
No, but
No, I'm
Line alt.
Patrick.
Fuck off, Jeremy.
I just have a real quick question. So, Villy, have you heard
42.
the new subscribe emote on the or the subscribe sound on the channel?
No. What does it sound like?
I mean,
Oh, is that the you got to get jacked thing you were saying?
yeah, it's just you
Jack to
saying
the
jack to the
tits.
tits. It's fucking hilarious.
Jack to the tits, yeah.
Exactly.
Do
It's my
what?
favorite.
What movie is
I
that
just came
from
back-
again?
It's from fucking
The
The
Big
Big
Short.
Short, which is like one of my favorite movies. So you just like when you said that, I was like, yes.
Is it
also-
from The Big Short? We're in The Big Short. I'm trying to think.
Ryan Gosling when Steve Carell says we're going in with like your plan. So Steve Carell's little hedge fund decides
Right,
to
yeah,
give
yeah,
Ryan
yeah, yeah,
Gosling's hedge fund all of its money to do, to go in.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
this-
I
on this
remember the
shark.
part now.
He's
And
in
he's
the
in the middle of the
bathroom.
gym and he's like, or no, wait, no, he's in the bathroom and he fucking, he's like, object to
Andy,
the tits.
well, you
And then
missed the
like,
first
and then he,
part, Loki.
then he
You
goes
fucked it
through
up.
the bathroom and there's like dudes in there and he's like, what did you hear? What did you hear?
Andy, I told
So
you
good.
when not to fucking hang around here. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Such
Yeah,
a
he's
good
like,
movie,
he's also
but-
expelling people from the bathroom. It's an amazing. scene, dude.
Anyways,
Anyway.
it's an amazing soundbite, and I love it. It's my favorite thing, and I'm so glad that it's the subscriber sound. It's just, it's good.
Great.
It's amazing.
I do what I can for the show, you know.
You do.
Honestly, I just feel bad sometimes. I come on here and, now we've got Moomin helping Bill, which is good. It helps the variety a little bit.
Billy, I
You're
think that
actually-
I'm a grown ass man. A grown ass. I'm
Big boy.
INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means?
I do know what it means, Bill, and I'm not gonna lie. Actually, Bill, like, I don't think you needed help, but I think it's good for you to have some help, if that makes sense.
So
you handled the troll zone on your own. You did pretty well. You kept it very real, and to be honest, you're probably much better at it than your compatriot here tonight.
Don't hate on my homie.
The thing
But
is,
like,
Billy,
it's another voice helps, and Dawn's obviously taking a night off, so.
I just keep trying to bring worthy contenders, and every time I bring somebody new, it's always the same shit. Like, Moomin, I love you, okay? You're a great person, but I need you to focus a little bit, right? Because when you jump around to a bunch of different things, and it starts to stop making sense, That's
Yeah,
when
but
you start to lose credibility. And I don't want
thing
you to
here,
lose
Red
credibility because I brought you on so that there would be more credibility for the Goonstorm side. Because everybody says the show's fucking Pappy Tuesday or some bullshit like that. It's not, because while yes, I am an NC and there are many members of Pappy here, it's not Pappy Tuesday. It's whoever the fuck wants to
Who
talk
have you been
Tuesday.
listening to? Everybody I've heard calls it
goons.
Bill's show and a bunch of bitches. That's all I've heard.
So
Bill and the
I'm going to go
boys.
here with what do you actually want from me, other than the case of,
Consistency.
as far as I'm concerned, for you to win this war, you need to exterminate me from the game. So off you go.
For me to
Well, there we
win
go.
this war,
Moomin's the kingpin.
I need to
Yeah.
exterminate the hate in your heart that you have for my people, and replace it
Your
with
people.
love. Yeah.
Who are your people, Redline?
Your adopted people.
Don't
My-
make him answer that.
my
He doesn't want to have
people.
to say
Redline will
goons.
always be a goon first.
I
He
know
doesn't want to.
what goons.
Isn't Redline Dave Archer?
Yeah.
It's 100%.
I
Delete
gotta
that.
go. I gotta
You
go.
also know about all the times that I've come out
Cringe Dave.
to keep him safe time and time and time again.
Hey Moomin, I have 2 questions from Horde line members who've PM'd me. Can I ask them to you?
Of course you can, dear.
So first question, how much do you get paid by INN? I don't know if you want to answer that, but like,
Oh, it's like everything I do is like for free, because this is the funniest war to date, and I get
It's
to
not
write the
free. You
history
get
for
paid
it as well.
500 million-esque for every article you write.
Yep.
that's awesome. Okay.
But
Why am I
I'm
working for you,
sure that-
Redline?
I'm pretty sure
You're
that
not.
Ram was on about like the local stuff, and I do that all for love.
Does INN pay for quantity or quality?
Quantity.
They
Yes.
pay for anything.
Quality.
Well, if anyone wants to submit anything through to INN, you're more than welcome to. We have people from both sides of the fence, and also from completely on the fence as well. So it's
You
down
mean
to
I can get paid for shit talking? Why the
Yeah,
fuck has no one told me this before?
What he doesn't say is they then own whatever you wrote and they can editorialize it however they want.
And they can post it when they feel like it and do all that kind of stuff. It's essentially like writing for a
Hey,
newspaper.
Vinny,
So
you got your fingers
honestly,
burnt. with that,
honestly, I would
I got my
highly
what, sorry?
encourage.
fingers burnt.
Fingers burned for what?
Well, the editorialization of stuff.
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Polygon article. See, you're so forgetful, Villy. What is wrong with you?
Dude, like you guys try to do this like gotcha thing where you bring up random stuff and then you're like,
I don't need to bring up anything random. All I need to do is log in, and that's it.
It's not even that you bring up gotcha shit. You bring up gotcha shit that have titles that nobody else outside of Imperium know what the fuck it is that you're talking about.
yeah, that's probably the better way to put it. It's
The
like
Mittani's like the War of the Summer Children. We're like, what the fuck are you even talking about? It's like, oh, that time that the people in Losec were trying to kill, like, you know what I mean? Just like it's just a bunch of random weird goon shit. Like, please.
like
keep it in
how did I get my fingers burned? I'm kind of curious.
Well, you went and said that what was written in the Polygon article was editorialized.
The title was absolutely editorialized. Yeah.
Right, so it was editorialized. That's all. That was the only point I was making, and that you've got your fingers burnt from it. That's all.
What does
That implies
expression
my
mean?
fingers are burnt when it's like, do you think I care that it was editorialized? That I'm like,
Well, Billy, you also got your fingers burnt by trying to hop in this kitchen. It's too fucking hot over here in 1DQ for you, brah. It's too
yop,
hot
yop,
over
yop,
here.
yop, yop. Now to keep on the point so that we don't like pivot again. Like, do you think that like them editorializing the article to make it sell is like something that upset me? Like,
No, it's like I think that you kind of gave them all of the material anyway, so it was you kind of selling stuff in the first place.
it was me kind
Don
of
has
setting.
never done anything to an article, Moomin.
Check the fucking tits.
What? They've never done anything weird to an article, editorialized it, as was said.
Well, I don't know. You asked Piggles. Yeah, it's a case of like we wrote a stuff about Piggles like the other day. Did an interview. Were we shitty to him? Were we a dick? Well, I don't know. You ask some people and they will say yes, but Piggles says that we were okay about shit.
I mean, I personally think that you guys
Do
are
goons
just dicks to everybody. But
is it
yeah, it's just
possible
me.
for the goons not to resort to childish name calling?
No, it's not.
What's wrong with Pickles? Is a name of endearment. What's wrong with that?
Yes, Pickles is a name of endearment. Come on, my man.
I've actually asked him about that. He says it's not a name of endearment, that it was originally created to make fun of him. But you can go off.
But it's like I get called all
Why
sorts.
wouldn't it be a name to make fun of him? His name's PGL and they added an S.
Because I would say that just feels a little bit pretentious in my throat.
Dude, it's a fucking gamer name. Like
I know
That's
how.
not the only thing you felt in your throat, dude.
I know how PGL feels
Up
though,
top,
because
Loki.
Test has been calling me Big Bill the Buffet for so long, and I'm really hurt. It strikes like a fucking pick through my heart.
Why don't
And I
they
would
call
like
you?
to-
Yeah, so
Why don't they call
anyway-
you your real name, Bill? Large Billiam the Supervisor.
What the fuck?
Anyway, so a topic that isn't Bill making it all about himself, please.
I gotta say, there's some pretty good names. I think, sorry, boss man. I think Billy Sphincter was a pretty funny name, honestly.
Oh, and they named the fucking structure that, yeah. Like, here's the thing, though. Like, the childish name calling stuff is actually like, you know, people don't. How do I put this? People don't want to call you out on your toxicity more than they already do, but sometimes you guys make it so hard that people like are so you.
So what are you on about there?
Do you think calling somebody Piggles is normal?
It's like it's a video game. It's like if you think calling someone who's pro God Legend is, then probably I don't know what to say.
Fucking PGL, just man.
You know the origin of his name?
Yeah, I do. He was.
No, in a non-troll answer. Like, do you actually know the origin of the name?
No, I don't. I can't even
What is
bullshit that.
origin
So next
story?
time, Bill, when you have a troll answer that's going to be
Just
complete
ask him.
bullshit, just don't say it.
If you think somebody has a memey name, ask them. Like Alpha Star Pilot. Like people make fun of Alpha Star Pilot's name, and it's like him and his mom helped him pick that because he was like 12 or whatever when he started Eve. Like I don't know why people like you can shit on someone's name if they have like a really shitty name, like something really dumb or a slur or whatever.
So
But,
Do you
like,
think
Like
no one-
Loki chocolate chips.
Do you
Yeah.
think no one's taking the piss out of Moomin Amatin? Is that what you're saying, Rain?
No.
I'm thinking if you're gonna make fun of someone's name, at least know the origin of it and pick something better.
Yeah, or
Like come the
just
fuck
even-
on, dude.
I mean, it's just like it's churlish kind of insults. The bit that I kind of like have issue.
Okay,
with
do you think that childish insults
where
are not
people
toxic?
kind of, like take things a little bit too.
No.
You don't think childish insults aren't toxic and they don't
No, I
create a
think all
toxic
your people-
environment where toxicity is accepted at every level?
Well, Poopyhead, what's wrong with calling you that?
I think the word toxicity is a little bit of
And
a.
also,
It's
it's
been
like-
kind of strung out over time.
You know what, Bill? You're not entirely wrong, but I don't have a better word.
How about disrespectful?
Can I would like to interject just for a moment with something completely different. Childish or not, like sticks and stones, dudes, sack up. People can say whatever they want. Like people spent an entire year shit talking me in local nonstop every time I was there. Doesn't fucking matter. Who cares what stupid people say, right? Like this whole argument that goons are
That
toxic
doesn't-
because the argument that goons
Who
are
cares?
toxic because they make shitty and snide comments is not to me why goons are toxic. Goons are toxic because they are literally built from the top down to shit on anybody who doesn't wear the right color lipstick when they put their lips on Mitten's cock. I mean, that might be too graphic, but realistically, that's what it is. The entire fucking alliance is built on pleasing the guy in front of you, and if you can't, then you're not good enough to be in the alliance. Like, at the end of the day, that is massive bullshit, and that is ridiculous to have that be a basis.
Redline, I just want to say
for-
that calling us all cocksuckers is kind of toxic.
Well,
Okay,
the thing is,
who cares?
is-
Sack up, dude.
I
Fuck
feel like
off.
we're mixing a bunch of shit here. Cause like if you're like, oh, it's just words, then I mean you can go into really bad territory there.
There's a difference between shit talking and toxicity, and it's making sure you don't cross that line. Calling someone a shit player and laughing at them for blowing them up, that's a bit of fun and shit talking. Going into like racial or homophobic slurs, that's a line you don't fucking cross. And I think that's something we can all agree on.
And that's kind of the point that I'm kind of like making here. There's a case of like there's name calling, and then there's name calling. Yeah.
All I
There's
know is that
picking
earlier
the
today,
piss out of people, and then there's like not. It's like with Headliner. I was talking to like Headliner one day, and we were kind of like I called him eyeliner, and then we were talking about the
That's
best
cute.
liners, and we decided that actually Panty Liner was the best liner. And
So
there we go. It
all
was
I
just like
really
having
know
fun with mates.
is that
No.
when I was letting my dog out earlier, I accidentally let a fly into my house. I just smacked that fly and it's flying around like it's dizzy. And I feel like that fly would do a better job leading the Imperium than the people who are currently leading it. That's all I'm
Well,
going to say.
that's why you're the host of the show and not leading an Imperium.
Exactly. And
I mean,
that's why
that's
you're
true.
for the Imperium, Redline.
That's why what?
Dawn Raya for CEO of Goonswarm.
In Redline, it's not fair. Like because Imperium's still alive, they're leading pretty well.
Well, the fly is alive too. It's just like it's flying around all dizzy like. So I mean, it's kind of like the Imperium in that regard that it's alive. It knows it's alive, and all it needs to do to win whatever contest it's in is stay alive. But in reality, it doesn't know that like it's as close to death as it's ever been,
But
and
you're
all
talking
it's
about
gonna
it.
take is one snap, and it's just gone.
Why are you entertaining this analogy still?
I love it. It's fun.
Was anyone else here drunk?
I feel drunk.
I wish I
Dawn.
was.
I made
Where's
multiple.
my Dawn?
I made multiple fucking drinks at this point. To
I
get
feel like
shit.
this conversation has taken it out of me enough where I'm like, I feel like I could.
Go ahead,
be.
Morris.
I wish I was drunk.
Find your words, buddy. Find your words.
You
I'm
guys just
sure
get
this
so
is
heated.
not-
I have to change the topic. I'm sorry.
You guys want to talk
Anyway,
about
it's
something
like
fun?
Yes, Loki. Yes, Loki. Let's talk about something fun. I want to talk about something fun.
What are we gonna
It's
talk
quite
about?
late, so I'm going to disappear and have a cup of tea if that's all right. So thank you very much for inviting me onto the show, though.
Thanks for chatting with you, Moomin.
Thank
Like
you for coming.
in
Glad you
voice
came on.
instead of text.
Oh,
Moomin,
let's just say this in like solidarity because obviously this is not necessarily like what I would call a pro goon show. So thank you very much for agreeing to come on. You positioned yourself. You said some things. Most of us tried to tear you apart for it. Some of us agreed with you. So good on you.
Others of us just
Thanks for
wanted you to
coming.
have a clear thought.
Please come back for more abuse. Peace out, brother.
Yeah, I'll come back when the war is declared officially over, whenever that is.
See you in a year,
So
my
yeah.
man.
I'm gonna
Year and a half.
My friend said, who knows nothing about Eve, but he had this to say, but she was listening.
Fuck goons.
No, but
Right,
seriously,
anyway,
I've gone on
so,
goon
let's see you in
podcast
about
things.
4 chaps. Toodle pip.
goodbye, Moomin. I shall see you.
Telly Pip, my brother.
And then there
Very
was
gone.
one. Now you're all fucking trapped in here with one.
Yo,
I
I'd
have
like to
no
say
idea
I'm an
what's going
independent in
on.
this
Common
whole
Arc
thing. I
is
have
still in
no
your
actual opinion
freaking
about it.
coalition, dude.
Also, Luke is here.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
what?
don't forget about Luke.
When did Luke join?
Luke's
He's
been here
been
for a
here
while,
for a
man.
while.
That's what I said. We
Oh,
got
but he's
2 out
not
of the
real,
3 top
he's not like a real
AUTZ.
goon, is he? He's not like a good
He's
enough
just-
goon for you, is he?
He's just not saying anything because there's no Thrashers in the Discord chat.
Thrasher?
No, I didn't. I didn't
Send
know
me
you
your
had that.
Thrasher fits. I'll read them.
What about when you guys were doing the F1? You're like, don't fall watching F1. I'm like, all right, guys, Thrashers in a 1DQ.
How do you know all about these people, Redline? I don't understand.
What do you mean? How do I know all about these people? They're my
Are these the
friends.
people? Well, is that
Because I
Constantine
post.
from fucking like Fire in here?
Yeah.
He's still in here, Loki.
Oh, he
Yeah.
was talking earlier. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I was doing other things. I didn't know it was Constantine talking to me. Yeah,
No,
so
I
all that
didn't.
shit you guys linked in the local that one time, dude. Like, I'm sorry, but I stand by everything I've ever said on the show ever. So it's rough. I know.
Loki, you need to decide whether you're gonna say sorry or sorry.
Dude, you
He
sound
can say
so
whatever he
Canadian
wants.
when you said sorry.
I'm fucking Canadian. It's part of my thing. I'm not
Boy.
as fucking Canadian as like Billy though. A boot.
Billy only
Yeah.
says it when he says a boot.
Yeah,
A
Billy.
boot.
No,
extremely-
but he has that upward inflection to like Irish likeness, I suppose.
What?
The upper
Irish
like
French.
the upper
French?
Canadian like inflection, like that kind of shit. Like he's
Whenever-
he's
whenever
got
he-
it just a
whenever
touch. He's got it
he-
just a touch.
Whenever he says WTF, you can really hear it in his voice,
What
like when
the
he's really
fuck, my
annoyed.
man?
Oh, like WTF.
Yeah.
Are you a Scottish French person?
No, I'm
No.
fucking English as English gets, unfortunately.
Je peux parler en français
Of
aussi, si
Canadians.
tu veux.
you know.
Unfortunately.
Or Jack to the toots.
The Anglo burden.
He's basically the Ryan Gosling of what I'm going to say.
Bill.
Are you from New Brunswick or Newfoundland or?
Bill, I need you
one
to
of
know
those
that every time you say "Jack to the tits,"
I don't need
in
to
a,
dox myself anymore.
with
Oh,
a
okay,
with
yeah,
a
that's actually a good
failed
point. Never mind.
emphasis,
He's from
you know,
Western Canada.
I'm sorry, Loki's been drinking, so he's talking over you. What'd you say, Redline?
every time
Whoa.
you say "Jack to the tits" with failed emphasis, I get one step closer to making that the follow sound, so that it's just always playing all the time.
Failed emphasis.
Jack
Fucking
to the
jacked.
tits.
Jack to the tits.
Jack to the tits, man.
So I do want to take a second to elaborate about this movie because it is like one of the for some reason that
It's
movie hit
amazing.
me so hard. It's like
Oh, because
such a
everyone was so
great
angry.
movie, yeah, and that's why like I've always used that phrase, "Jack to the tits." It's like
It was the
either
last
whenever
movie with Anthony Bourdain in it, which hit me kind of hard. I'm not even like actually joking about that. That's actually a thing.
Mm.
So I also cook a lot, so there's that.
Also, I do want to make sure that everybody knows that Reddit Swarm is a real thing. Like, everyone says
Oh my
it's
God,
not,
dude.
and like they say,
Is
"Oh
Dreaded a
no,
real
there's
thing
no
though?
way
Is it?
Reddit Swarm is a real thing." It's absolutely real. The plex isn't as good as they tell you it is. It's about 100 plex per post, and then you get extra if it gets awards. You get extra if it hits more than 100 upvotes, or if it gets more than 250 comments.
They're actually
So-
paying people to fucking Reddit post?
Up to 500 plex per post.
Dude, that's fucking amazing, actually. I'm
I
not gonna
don't
lie.
know what level of irony we're on yet.
No, but
level
that's great though. I mean,
17.
I understand how it's really bad for the people who don't like reading all that bullshit. I don't read any of it, but I post occasionally, but outside of that,
Well,
but
the
that's
thing is,
actually like genius though. Like if you had enough money, like just throw it at it. Like fuck
I
yeah.
don't even read my own posts. Like, what do you think I'm gonna fucking read other people's?
I mean,
like,
Bill,
like
no
the
one's
funny
ever
thing is they've
accused you of
actually
knowing how to
overdone
read,
it,
so-
kind of the way they've done it. It's
I would've
Like
would've
they're
been going-
overpaying for the same idiots that would still do it for free anyway, kind of thing.
well,
Yeah,
no, what I
that's
mean is that
horrible.
like the narrative has become so one-sided in terms of the posting that like it's lost all its value, right? Like you're not like when you normally read Reddit, like there's the can I convince somebody level of discussion, but like we're so well past that where it's just like this stream of like content shit posts that like nobody's paying any attention anymore because they know what it's going to be, if that makes
Well,
sense.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, maybe like maybe there's like that small group of people who'd be like swung over. I feel like it's just this like team building experience slash propaganda machine slash like cult leader fucking like wording shit, like where you get, instead of the cult leader coming up with all the prayers, he's like paying people to do it, and then they're all upvoting it, and then they all kind of like engage in this shit all together. I don't know if it has anything to do with you or people who are quote unquote not convinced. You know what I mean? Like I'm pretty sure it's just a fucking how do you even say that?
The
Like
trick,
a fucking
is so. Here's the trick. The trick
like a
is
voice.
noticing what
Yeah.
narratives are being regurgitated on both sides, and what narrative is new on both sides. Like I like to figure out what's new coming out from the other side, and then assassinate it before it even gets up on its own two legs.
Oh, is that?
I think
what
it's funny that you think we have an organized narrative.
Is that
No,
what
I
you?
don't.
Is
That's
that what
why I
you
haven't
tried
been
to do?
shitposting lately.
Is that what you tried to do to the containment narrative, and then you couldn't when you realized that it was all 100% factual and true?
Well, no, I think I actually gave you the containment narrative.
No, I just
Did ya?
think like Matani is actually
Yeah.
using Reddit as
I
like
just-
an echo chamber, like a extended echo chamber.
I
Yeah,
did.
that's actually an accurate way to say it. I would
That's
think.
all it would be, right? Like
I
you know.
did enjoy specifically that the only thing that you could post on my thread was something about wooden dowels. You had nothing else to say, and no one
That's
upvoted
because
your post.
It's because I knew what kind of post you were posting, and so I responded
What kind of a
appropriately.
post? A very clear and easy to see post that even the most dumb goons could understand?
Yes.
I don't think that that's what you're going for, and you and
What?
I both know that.
Shh. Pshaw, what are you talking about? I was very clear in my post exactly what I was going for. It was more
I think you were
informative than
giggling
anything.
like a schoolgirl the entire time you're typing that up.
You think so?
Yes, I do. I believe that you were fucking every time you got done with the paragraph, you'd reread it and start laughing to yourself.
Can I just say though, like as somebody who eventually one day aspires to start an alliance, I'm inspired by the amount of spin on both sides, and like I'm taking notes, guys. You guys are really teaching me on how to dodge a lot of shit, and it's great. Like it's actually really good. I'm gonna say the Matani's probably way better at it because he's had to deal with a lot more shit. But like still though,
I
it's
disagree.
been quite educational. No, I mean, dude, they've lost. I mean, all they have to deal with is, I guess, we've lost everything, and now we're in one spot. But this one spot
We've lost
is like
everything.
where we're gonna be. Like this is the only delve that matters. This is the fortress, right? Everything else was floodplain. I really honestly enjoy that nuance. You guys can talk shit to me about like that, I suppose, but like, it's pretty much true. Like that's what he's had to do to engineer this, and it's fucking amazing. Like it's actually like it's the best possible spin on anything I could possibly come up with. Like it's fucking amazing. So I'm just gonna say I'm taking notes. Like honestly, I'm taking
Also,
notes.
another thing is that like back when we got kicked out of Declan Saranan days, like Reddit was fucking weaponized against us hard as fuck, and I like said way back then, like, hey, we kind of need to like learn how to post on something else besides something awful, guys.
Yes, and I mean, like honestly, like when you guys weren't moving your shit out, I was like very concerned. But the overall plan was actually quite solid, and I understand that now. And because they believe, like goons believe, that they can win this narrative war that will demoralize their enemies and preserve what is true Delve. They just basically had to identify all the rest of Delve as not actually Delve, which actually went off without a hitch. So it's actually quite genius. Like honestly, it's very simplistic. I actually dig it. I really do. Like
So
I'll give like the Matani and the rest of whoever the fuck thinks of this shit props for that because it's quite good. It is quite good.
it's the reality of the situation.
Soven were talking
Yes,
yesterday.
yes and no, yes and no. Like most groups would be like, well, we lost like I don't know, Philly, how many? Like 52 keep stars. How many keep stars? A lot of keep stars. We lost a whole bunch of shit, but guess what? Like, but to be fair, like the M2 tac thing did not help things for Pappy, so there was that. Goons did not choose to capitalize though on the after effects of that, which I personally think is a mistake. Although
We
I
did,
think
we
that they're
did in
very
our own way.
well, maybe in your own way,
Yeah,
but not in
with
reality, like in actually capitalizing on it. So, I mean, it's kind of like you're definitely sticking to a very specific plan, and I honestly I respect it. I really do. I respect it.
well, and that's fine. So if you guys want to stick in one constellation, this is what I said last week, and I still mean it. Like if you want to stay in that constellation and do nothing else, like and just bark and not have the ability to leave that cage, and when you do, you just get shoved back in it. Like that's fine. You can do that. That's okay. You have my permission to stay. And you
Redline, you're
have my
literally
permission
the
to
mutt
We
in the
should just
set.
cage next to us. You're
Do
the
you
mutt
start
in the cage
do you
next
need
to
a
us in the
treat?
pound.
You don't get
Billy,
treats if you
are
bark.
we charging them at the moment for staying in our systems? Like staying in our constellation? Have we
Let's
started
do.
charging goons rent for staying in our constellation?
Rent is due.
Yeah, they've got to feed like 10 hex a day. The problem is we keep feeding more, so we'll get there.
Fuck.
Billy got it to
No,
it before I
last
did.
The brother Bob effect.
So there is
Brother,
somebody
thank you
in
so much
Twitch
for mentioning
chat
Brother Bob.
that is saying that
Bob's
the
a good
goons are
man.
gonna take Trash Talk Tuesday from us. So I
What
would
does that
like
even mean?
if somebody wants to take Trash Talk Tuesday from us, you don't have to take it. I'll fucking give it to you. Just full stop. It's yours.
Okay.
It's yours.
Hand it over, Redline. With me now.
It's like it's the most problematic show that Redline's created. Although it was the first one which launched the rest of them, so I will just maintain Trash Talk Tuesday is still number one.
Number 2.
As the second show on Tuesdays.
Redline's trapped himself into doing this show. Like he started
true.
it was a good idea, and then it wasn't a good idea really quick.
Wait, why isn't it a good idea?
It's a fine idea. It's fun. I look forward to every Tuesday that we come on bullshit, especially when I can get funny people to come on and say funny stuff. It's fantastic. It's
Sometimes
great.
instead of funny people, you have to make do with me.
I mean, I
Dude,
almost
I
never have to make do with
honestly,
you, honestly, which is great.
I really like this show for a lot of reasons. The main reason is because we do include both sides of a conversation, you at least get to hear both sides of a conversation. Now, one side of the conversation can dominate and tell the other side that they're like
It is
stupid
an
and
echo
blah blah
chamber,
blah blah
so
blah.
yeah, whatever.
No, this would be the least of the echoey chambers if I had to
No.
call one. I mean,
This is my favorite
It's
show
it's
because I'm
Pappy
on
Talk
it.
Tuesday.
Therefore, it's the best show.
It's the
It's
only
not,
one that'll
though.
let
I
you on
mean,
it, Jeremy.
You
What
have
the
me
fuck you mean?
telling all the Pappy people that they're a little fucking over fucking zealous and a little bit stupid, and I can also tell the goons that
Yeah, but
they're
that's just
like
theater.
way overreaching and that their
Shut up,
propaganda is also
Imperium
dumb.
Pet, dude.
That's just
Right.
theater, though. It's
I'm an
just it's
Imperium
not real.
pet. What? By the way, the
Anyways.
most offensive fucking thing anyone's ever said to me, and I've been fighting against it. The last, honestly, not recently, but there was like a 3-week period of time there where like I had to defend not being part of Imperium. Like Jesus Christ, dude, kill me. Like I'm more of a Pappy
Defend
people
in it.
than. Well,
Maybe you shouldn't have carried initiative through the entire fucking catch campaign then.
I mean, I don't think that we actually did. I know that you like to maintain that. I'm not saying that as a talking point. Like, actually, we didn't fucking do that much at all.
But
So there's that.
no, I
Yeah,
like
it was
listen.
tactical supremacy that did.
I both agree and disagree with you because the thing is you didn't do much, but the things you did were so impactful that it made all the difference. Especially in U.S. time zone where initiative is hyper weak and has no time zone strength, right?
So you just have to look at it through the lens of there was literally no other content and there was stuff happening in X system and our guys needed content because they were
Right.
not in Delph, okay? And so
But then
because
you
of that,
coordinated with
there you go.
initiative and helped one side, right? And
I mean,
that
I
side.
did not personally, honestly, I can't say that I personally coordinated with initiative ever. And I'm one of 2 FCs that actually do big things in Dread Bombs. So if you're gonna accuse Seto of shit, I mean that's something you're gonna have to fucking yell.
What was
It's
one
not so much
thing you did?
accusation. It's
Actually,
a
I'm not in
situation.
those, and I'm not. I'm not
If
in
Dread
those
Bomb
channels,
and
right?
Initiative
If there
showed
are
up on
them.
the field, everybody knew which side was going to be on. Like,
When you're
there was
shooting faction Fortizar without any resistance, dude, what do you think is going to happen? I mean, you just want the faction Fortizar kill, and if you have less numbers than the other side sometimes, which honestly we did, because you have to also remember that Dreadbomb was a growing alliance from this perspective. Like we were not necessarily dominant the entire time. Partway through this, yes, we were dominant in terms of numbers versus initiatives USTZ. But at the beginning, we were not. Like this is very much a story about an alliance that tried to find its way through a whole bunch of shit. Probably started an alliance at the worst possible fucking time in the game, where there was literally no content, and so you have people just like clawing and chomping at the bit to find something to do. And this is and honestly, like, and sometimes it didn't go your way. I would argue that most of the time it did go your way. You could argue with me, I guess, but I know some stuff. So I'm going to say probably not. Right? Like generally, I think we've been pretty fair. Have we been always fair to you specifically? No, absolutely not.
You betrayed him.
Should we be?
directly.
Should we be?
The
Probably
knife
not.
was
Like we're
in
not
your
really.
hand, in his back, and you said.
Anyways, like, listen. All I
"Were
was
we
saying is
fair
that
to
you
you?"
guys carried initiative during the catch campaign. It is what it is. Like, you guys don't think you did a ton. I think you did a lot.
No, I mean, like, I've
We can
planned
agree to
multiple
disagree.
fleets. I planned multiple fleets where I was told to stand down. Versus because Tess was showing up. Because if you hadn't shown up, I would be able to carry out the things I wanted to do. You guys showed up, and I was like, okay, well, we're not doing the fleet. Great. I spent like 3 hours of my fucking time doing this. Cool.
But for every fleet you stood down, like even if 1/4 of the fleets you would have like.
I would say we stood on 75% of the fleets that could have been potentially.
Sure. So that 1 in 4
us.
that you did send out
Uh-huh.
changed the dynamic drastically, right?
Well, then I guess you got to reach out more to our dudes, dude. Like I don't know what to tell you. I'm honestly, I'm not the guy who's in charge of that shit. So it's rough.
Look, it sounds like Sado or somebody may need a seat at the council. Somebody
Tell
needs
you what kind of seat I don't expect him to be getting.
See, Bill, you're not allowed to make those jokes.
Oh, Gagarin, that's rough, dude. That is rough.
You're not allowed to make those jokes, Bill, because you're the type of person that actually believes there's a council.
Well,
Well,
ladies and gentlemen.
funny enough, we do have the CSM Council to talk about this week that we didn't even
do.
touch on.
We didn't. I really wanted to. I wanted to like reveal the Trash Talk Tuesday ballot and all that kind of stuff, and like talk about the candidates. Hell yeah, we have a ballot. We are.
I better be on the top
doubt.
of that fucking ballot.
You're not even on the
Rich
ballot,
Richard on the
dude.
ballot?
You're not even on the ballot. He left. He
I'm
fucking
really-
left.
I'm disappointed that that PGL is running this year.
Billy, you are on the
Why?
ballot, dude. Come back.
Is
Yeah.
Richard on the ballot?
Really left.
Hilarious. Oh, fuck's sake, dude. I can't.
Wait, did he actually
And
leave?
on that
Yes.
disappointment,
Oh my
Just
god,
left
dude.
The whole server, he left,
No, he
left.
just left the channel, dude. Calm
They left the channel.
down. Billy is at the top of the Trash Talk Tuesday ballot, of course. I'll just link it in the announcements later. It's no big deal.
Wait, you
Anyways.
never talked about this with us. This is just your
Yeah.
ballot.
WTF? You didn't counsel with the Council of
Hold up.
TTT.
He's
Wait,
not.
I have
Ask
another
the rest
person
of
tell
us
me
to
what to
troll.
believe.
He's not really on the ballot. I was being serious, but I didn't want him to hear it. So.
Rough, dude.
Oh shit! I wasn't muted on stream. God damn it. Oh. Anyways, well.
This is about as bad as your post right now.
What? My post
Your
is
post.
fantastic.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was great. It's always
Which
great.
post? So we're on the same page.
Don't worry about it.
I get it.
Anyways,
Same page.
It's
post, get
it's
it?
late. It's late in the day, right? And
I'm gonna go
we're
to bed,
gonna
dude.
call
Riker.
it a day here because we gotta. So I'm
Riker,
going
give your
to
spiel as to why you should be elected as CSM.
Oh yeah,
I don't think you should end.
we have to. I have to go to bed
Okay.
eventually.
Hi, Mel.
Hi.
So I'm probably I'm thinking about would y'all vote for me if I ran for CSM
Oh.
17?
Not in your wildest dreams.
I already got a yes from you, Redline, so it doesn't count.
Not in your.
Bill, you're gonna get
wildest
votes from
fucking
your
dreams.
multi-boxing accounts, and that's it.
Got
Bill, we can be
Olmeca
running
in.
mates.
Who's that?
Or I'll run with
Well, I think even Major Teeth would vote for you if you ran. That's how confident I am.
Who's Major Teeth?
He's that dude that really hated you.
Oh
in
yeah,
local
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time.
that guy. Yeah, that motherfucker. Thief. I thought his name was Thief, not Teeth.
It is.
No, it's Teef. Theef.
Oh man.
Jen, are you gonna have?
Major Thief. Yeah, that guy. Oh, speaking of child's name, Sandra called me Big Bill the bitch. See? What is this? What is this? How come I get picked on and nobody else?
Yeah, but
gets picked
Sandrin
on?
isn't on the show, so we're not holding us to his standard.
We have
Anyways,
worse names
guys,
to call you in
real
closed
quick,
doors, but
Sandrin's a punk.
I'm just gonna go ahead and mute the Discord for a second so that just the stream can hear me. There's a bunch of you watching. Make sure that you go vote for CSM. All right. CSM is an important entity. They act as a filter between most shitty things and us, the regular players. If you haven't checked it out already, Ashtarothi has compiled a lot of CSM information. He did a whole lot of work to do a ton of interviews and get all of this stuff so that you could digest it easily. And you should honestly go check it out if you have time. Like, I don't know, the next 48 hours, you could probably watch all the interviews. And CCP's interviews too. Make sure that you watch those. Definitely make an informed decision because at the end of the day, these are the people that are going to represent us to CCP, and it's up to us to pick people that are going to do it well. So if you're in an alliance or a group that's like making their own ballot, don't feel like you have to vote with the ballot unless you feel like that. I mean, then go ahead. But really, just use your brain. Make sure you fill out the whole thing and go do that as soon as you can. Cool? We all on the same page with that? Alright, so the Discord is unmuted now. You guys
And
can
then I
go
was
right
like,
again.
oh my God, no, Rain, please stop sending me those. Oh, sorry.
I'm on that ballot, right?
What ballot?
The Trash
I'll
Talk
build
ballot.
Mystic.
Trash
so-
Talk Tuesday ballot and Nuts of Warden exist in the exact same. I'm pretty sure.
So we did that poll before. Let me find it. It was a very clear poll, where everybody in the Discord could vote on their top 10. The top 10 were Evie Cuovo, Seto, Sutonia, iBeast, Phantomite, Mike Azariah, Rix Javix, Arcia Elkin, Stitch Caneland, and Riker514. Those are the top 10. So I will, you can see the results in the poll, and I will post the results here. I'm not going to make you a fancy link or anything, but this is what the people in the Discord voted for, and everybody else can vote in this poll too if you want to. I can go ahead and put this in. There's no black candidates on here. 0 black candidates because we figured black candidates can get their own votes. And if anybody is voting with a block, they can just vote with the block. But you're welcome to vote in that poll if you want, and then I will post the results of it, I guess tomorrow I can. And then yeah, we'll do that. So does anybody have any like pressing final thoughts for us tonight? I'll be happy to entertain them if you do.
Yeah, I want to know if iBeast actually plays.
Of course he does.
Yes, he is extremely active.
Really?
course.
Really?
Yes,
He's streaming.
he streams every day on YouTube, dude.
But I thought he only played
Did I
on
just give
Serenity.
Rain a subscription? It
Yeah.
didn't play Jack to the Tits. What the fuck?
He's making money from streams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lucy Liu is extremely popular. Lucy Liu is iBeast or iWorst player ever. He has multiple alts. He was also Avery77, top of the leaderboards of Proving Grounds over the weekend.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, it's difficult because he never put any of his kill mills in YouTube.
He doesn't need to. Lucy's kind of one of
know
the.
who he is.
Lucy's like Garmond or Chesser. Like you should know who iBeast is. Like he goes by various names. Most people know him by Lucy Liu.
We'll know who he is.
Yes.
Can we just say Mantis's art is fucking amazing?
We can.
Hey, you know what comes out tonight, guys? Loki.
These nuts?
The newest Bachelorette season. Thank you.
That was a good D's nuts. Oh my god, somebody used it besides me and did well.
But wait, who's got them? I don't.
Nice.
Thank you.
You can't back it up now. You already dropped them. You already dropped them. You can't pull them back in.
Oh, they're in Montreal. I'm not in Montreal anymore. Anyways.